Watching it end again and again. I feel it in waves, you follow me, drifting to places I should leave. So close to the edge of something so perfect. We were too scared to take the leap. I'm missing the way we used to be. Let me go. All that we had, I'm rolling like water in the sea. The memories crashing into me, so close to the edge of something so worth it. You have the world right at your feet, and almost is all we'll ever be.
Hello and welcome, everybody. It is LAN Day. It is Saturday, and it is the Heart of America Conference Championship Tournament here on LAN for Park University. Our gracious hosts, and we are also your gracious hosts in the booth. I'm Dana Taco. Joined with me is Rido in the booth all day to cast these three matches to see who's going to be crowned our champion here for this wonderful conference. All wrapped up here today. Rido, how are you doing?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm ready to see some high-level Rocket League gameplay here. Game one, it's going to be Park University versus St. Ambrose, number 1 versus number 4. Excited to see. Park's undefeated so far, so I'm wondering if St. Ambrose can bring the power here and give them their first loss here in this tournament.
I mean, that's the thing that we always kind of think about when you look at tournament brackets, see that an undefeated team. And I think with all of that momentum also comes with a lot of weight on your backs, is understanding that you do have that perfect record. In fact, honestly, sometimes I've heard from players in interviews and in different kind of press releases, or even just in tweets, saying it actually kind of feels nice to not have that perfect record because you know that the standards aren't set for you. But also, some teams get fueled by it. We'll have to see if Park is one of those squads. Ambrose certainly no slouches, though. Even if you're 4th seed, that's still top half of the table. So that is our first semifinal. We're going to follow it up a little bit later with Central Methodist and Missouri Valley come in, the 2 and 3 seeds leading up to our championship. So a fairly brisk day, but not necessarily brisk series because we do have all best of 7s today here planned.
Yeah, and absolutely. And like we said, perfect, like Park may be perfect, but in a best of 7, I mean, anything can happen. I mean, so many matches, so much time to even have a reverse sweep happen, momentum can just change with the one game. So I'm excited. I'm ready.
It can be an interesting time, but that's, of course, why we are excited to have these kids on LAN, because at the end of the day, online competition, it hits different. You're not able to actually fist bump your teammates if you're right next to each other. I mean, they go to the same university, so potentially you might be able to play in person, but most of the time you want to be playing the comfort of your home. So maybe the LAN jitters might get there. There's some people in the crowd, they're witnessing, they're cheering on, get a little nervous. Maybe you don't have a rag next to you for be able to wipe the sweat off your hands. There's a billion different things that could be going on here. But here at the Heart of America Conference Championship Tournament, everything's taken care of. Park has been really nice hosts. And so, of course, a little bit of home field advantage. Maybe that'll play into them. Some even more things to kind of factor in for our first seed, as actually my good buddy Bass in the Past has actually taken over coaching duties for them as well. And he's real proud of them. So he's got a lot to say for them. I'm just curious about what St. Ambrose can cook up.
Yeah, and I know St. Ambrose, they did have to travel. So I know they got there a little earlier this morning, so they have been warming up, but I wonder if, sometimes gamers early rise could maybe affect them here in game one, but hopefully they get settled in. Park, we know they're settled. This is their home territory. They should be good, but see if St. Ambrose can be settled here in game one as well.
At least in the Central Time, we have scheduled it a little bit later on in the day. I feel like one of the weirdest things is getting some of these gamers out of the DGen hours, and they're saying, well, you're normally up until 2 a.m. playing and grinding the rank ladder. But no, you got to wake up actually somewhat early. We gave them a little bit of a late start here, so they're getting into this at noon here in the Central Time Zone. But we don't have to wait any longer. They don't have to be fully woken up because they're already ready to go. We got game one of a best of 7, the first semifinal here. Park and Ambrose seeing who's going to move on and be our first grand finalist.
Absolutely here. Kickoff through. Nice little 50 going across onto the Ambrose side, but back across the Park. Floofy kicks it back across. Oh, top net and a goal early for Ambrose here, actually. I like to see that there for them. I said they might start off slow, but it looks like they're starting out hot.
Yeah, Shalonker's really schlonked that one right into the top bins, off the bar and down. And that's a rough one as well, but it's really well set up. Sometimes you take those air dribbles and you're looking to plow through the defense, but other times you're kind of banking on that 50. You can't ask for a better one, just going right back into their next player going forward. So really player of the year here, Zero trying to answer back for Park, but apparently it's not going to be that easy. Maybe the follow through, but also save the side.
Yeah, now so far here, gonna try and take it up the wall. Actually pinch it across, and that was an amazing pinch, but Zero's gonna take it back across, pass down the middle, no one there. Ball just kind of going back and forth here for Park. Seems like, oh no, Floofy keeps it on the offensive, but St. Ambrose sends it back across.
I really like that touch from Flamethrower. I like that setup even better. Soaped has no chance at that one, but Schlonk is going to have some competition. Sky also not going to be able to get this one, but a throw right back. He's cherry picking, and he's not able to react in time. Park hanging on by a thread on some of these defenses, but they're able to get away with it.
Yeah, and Soaped, he may have not had the greatest save chance there, but he is able to push it on the offensive here for the player of the year, Zero, but doesn't win the 50. Floofy keeps it on the half top. St. Ambrose sends it over to the side.
So far, able to throw kind of a weak one on there, but it gave Floofy a chance to get at least an attempt at a demo, but that's really all it's going to be is really most of these players are going to be staying on the field and continuing this attack. We mentioned Ambrose coming in as the 4th seed. We are wondering if they're going to be rattled. Honestly, they're the more together of the two teams as maybe another open net opened up, but it will be saved just at the last second.
And that was an amazing bump there as well. He knocked 2 out of the net. I'm not sure who it was, but 2 out of that. It was an open net, but so far came in and did save it. But back on the offensive here. Park looking to score here, approaching that 3-minute mark. Not quite. The save comes through.
It's another one going to go slightly over the head of the Park offense, so now they're going to have to go back and play their best defense, but Flamethrower also not making it easy. That's another dunk. Going to glance off the top bar. Sky, keeping it somewhat competitive as Schlonker is going to hit another one. And honestly, every shot I've seen today, maybe they're not the most accurate, but they are hit with a lot of power. There's certainly no warming up. Everybody has been through the training packs, and they're looking ready to go. Right now, it seems like the pace is going to stay at this level and really going to have no kind of like boring mid-game, it seems.
Absolutely here. Park on the offensive again, but Flamethrower's really been the guy to turn these Park offenses, making them turn onto the defense. He's really putting the pressure on Park.
I think it can be difficult when you're in these situations as Park. I mentioned they might have some expectation on them, especially as the gracious hosts of this tournament. So being able to come into this one and have immediately a goal given against you, that's one thing, that's fine. But now, as you mentioned, yeah, Flamethrower and company really doing a number in the midfield. Right, even now, Schlonker's cutting out another one, and even then extending that one nearly over 0, but as we mentioned, the Park defense is up to the task, at least so far. You just got to hope that these 4 shots that they've mustered are going to be able to grow at some point because they cannot keep it up. Schlonkers for yet another one.
Yes, 2-0 there. Soaked Bar tried to get the booster. I think he did get it, but then he's just awkward for the save. Floofy not able to get back there as well. Leaves the net wide open for that top corner. Nice little slot there.
You really can't ask for much better than that. Sometimes you want to pick out the back post. That's usually the conventional soccer wisdom, but if that near post is beckoning, it's really hard to adjust that car as a defender. So well placed yet again, and certainly showing a lot of offensive leadership. Not shooting 100%, but it seems like he is. He's had 5 shots, a majority of his squad, and really you don't want him anywhere near the ball. Same with Floofy, but that's why this man gets it done on both ends. Schlonkers with yet another save, and how about a clear as well?
Yes, and 0. He was about just an inch away from having that touch there on the side that could have led to the goal, but didn't quite get it. Now Park maybe in an awkward spot they're not used to, down 0-2. We talked about them and see what we can do with the adversity for them now instead of St. Ambrose.
Open shot for Soap, but again, it's just a little too high, and I can see the calculations in the players' heads as they're approaching these. They want to make sure they're perfectly placed, but sometimes you just got to pound it down the middle and hopefully break open the defense. Not if Schlonkers is back. Same with Flamethrower. Another nice clear that Soap Bar is trying to work something with, but you're going to need more support than that. Nobody up for Park. We're back out to mid.
So Bar tried to get it down there. No pass, but Floofy's going to carry it to him now, but not able to get it. 0 player of the year, not able to finish it there. Looks like Sky was there for the save as well, but now Floofy's back up the wall. Park's putting the pressure on him here now, more than we've seen the first half of this game, but yet again, it's now on Park's side. They're having to play defense here.
It's really difficult just watching this ball ricochet left and right all the way across, but these last second touches coming in from St. Ambrose are keeping their goal line clear. And the most important thing is right now, the only battle they really have is not necessarily against the Park offense, but just make sure this clock is continuing to tick down, because even with a goal, they're going to need another one. 0 can't provide it. It's off the back wall. The follow-up was also late, and with that flick, that's going to be even more seconds off this clock.
Absolutely narrowing down here, just 5 seconds with 2 goals. I mean, Park's got to get on absolutely fast here if they want to make it here, but it looks like that is going to be the end of game 1. St. Ambrose is going to go up 1-0 against Park University.
Well, you try and try again. Sometimes you got to have a lot of tries to be able to get through St. Ambrose. They're going to record a clean sheet and 2 goals to the good to record game number 1. This is technically an upset, but again, I kind of want to stay away from that in a way in this tournament just because of how good that all these squads are to be able to get into these playoffs. But for game 1, you got to be thinking Park has to be getting in the comms a little bit like, we got to settle down here. I mean, you very astutely mentioned that Flamethrower is kind of like the man in the midfield. They're not playing defense on their back line. They're playing the midfield, cutting out everything they can.
Absolutely. And maybe it's Park. Maybe they just had a certain play style they thought they went into this game. Maybe they're going to switch it up this game now. Maybe they're going to be more aggressive, less aggressive. Like you said, in the midfield presence there. Maybe they're going to challenge more in the midfield here against Flamethrower. I'm interested to see how they adjust here. Maybe they just needed to wake up. Maybe Park was the one. Maybe they were a little tired on home field advantage. Maybe they got there a little late or something. So happy to see what they adjust here going into game 2.
It's interesting to kind of contemplate, especially because this is really what the bread and butter of competitive Rocket League is everyone expects to lose some games, not really anything that's going to set off any internal alarms. The biggest issue is that as we load into game number 2, whether or not we see those adjustments come in from Park. Are they actually going to settle things down, look for more infield passes, maybe try to reinvent their wheel more or less and try to do something unconventional? Or is it just going to keep pounding their head against the backboard? No, we gave up early goals. As long as we don't give those up, then we're fine. Either way, I think there's something certainly to be said, and a lot of respect to St. Ambrose as if Park didn't already. So let's see if they can set the tone for a second straight game. St. Ambrose trying to really get the series started on their terms as the early flick goes to them.
Yeah, and we saw it again. Flamethrower right there, had the ball. Looks like Soap's going to go for the bump downfield, maybe open something, but a little whiff there on Park's side. The ball now in St. Ambrose's hands. But Soapbar sends it back across. Again, the midfield just met in the midfield here. Flamethrower again. St. Ambrose is really controlling that midfield again.
I think that's one of the most important things to note about defense is that when you're playing defense Rocket League, everyone pays attention to saves, but the best defense doesn't actually have to make saves. They're the ones that cut out the passes, the ones that take 50s before it can really develop. And I think that's one thing I really applaud St. Ambrose for. Usually when you play a high-ranked team, that undefeated team coming out of conference league play, you really are hesitant to sit back and you want to play more passive, kind of absorb pressure, but instead they're just going right for the jugular, right down the middle even, but Floofy is fast enough to get back.
Absolutely there. Almost an overcommit there for Park, but they're able to regain a good defense here. Hopefully they're able to turn this into an offensive play. Not quite. Another save through St. Ambrose. Looks like Soap's going to turn on it, though, to Floofy. No, they're going to both pinch it into the corner. Up for Zero. Zero hits it down, and it goes in. Park's on the board.
And that's the type of play that absolutely has to go in, so he will not disappoint. And he also knows the lead blocker. It doesn't have to be the best shot. It just has to be between the sticks.
Absolutely there. And I like how he decided to take it down. He went down with it, knew the player was going to jump up to get the goal there. It's out of the player of the year there. But kickoff now. Schlonk sends it back across onto the Park side.
Certainly, this is a series that we know can be a little bit back and forth. When these teams met in the regular season, we did see a 3-1 victory and a best-of-5 from Park. So clearly, we know that these games aren't necessarily sweeps, but certainly the pace of play is going to be staying at a pretty brisk pace, as right now we're seeing Park seemingly take control, but I wouldn't count out the side of St. Ambrose quite yet. They might be a little bit more against it, but certainly have that breakout potential. They like to be able to test the defense, almost a double commit, but Floofy trusting the Zero read.
Very good read there. Schlonk sends it back across for the teammates here. Floofy's going to keep it down over across mid now. Schlonk's tap over Zero, but Soapbar's there for it. What can he do with it? Nothing. White.
Flamethrower, a little bit of a backflip, trying to even get the half flip in, but not able to control. Sky, I think, looks for a pass on different levels there, different frequencies to communicate. A little 1-2 into the corner, but not really doing much. These deeper rotations from St. Ambrose not really paying the bills right now, as he can't really break through the defense with one shot. But of course, as I say that, Schlonkers shows that I am a fool. 1-1.
Again, we saw last time the Schlonkers hit the top close corner, but this time the ball stretches all the way across to the far corner, right past Floofy into the goal.
Honestly, it looks like one of those shots that I've also been presented with sometimes in ranked, where you're thinking to yourself, no shot, that man's actually going to try to score from this angle. And it's almost like your brain just isn't ready for the adjustments. And then when it comes in, and it's almost like you're getting a change-up pitch in baseball, you kind of freeze up for a second, just enough for that one to creep on by. It's one certainly Park wants back, but there's really no undo button in the middle of a Comp Rocket League game. So final 2 minutes, we'll have to see who's actually going to budge first. Maybe it's this infield pass, but Zero by far the closest. Floofy trying to make up for it off the bar, and he's not able to get the rebound either.
So close, and Sky there was also there for the second save. It was off the top bar, but Sky really making that save there for the, what would have been an open net if he didn't get back, but Park's gonna have to get back on defense again here. Zero's gonna take it off to the corner. But Schlong is there. Floofy's gonna meet. No, over one. Soapbar with the save.
So Bar also knows they don't want to throw the ball away too aggressively, but of course, as I said, that Zero is trying to creep on up. He wanted to be able to join the attack before they really got out of the defense, which can be sometimes a bit of a mistake, but it seems like they've recovered, and more than that, they're getting on every ball in the midfield now, more and more. Sky temporarily throws it on back. Floofy trying to race out and forward, and now with a lead Demo, so Bar trying to make everything happen at Demo, but he can't be able to get on the end of that clear. 1-1 we will remain entering the final 80 seconds.
Absolutely. As Parks had some, I think, great opportunities, but there's just one or two little things that go awry in between that play for happening them to get on the board again.
Another kind of awkward touch in front of the net. That one's a cut. I think maybe a pass back attempt from Park, but not going to work out for them. So instead, back into this kind of awkward 50-50 area. Zero will attempt to flick, but kind of a passive approach from Shalonkers will deliver another attack forward. Shalonkers trying to reach that one potentially off the wall, decides against it, and I don't mind this kind of passive play. If Park wants to keep throwing it back at them on St. Ambrose, then they will gladly take that possession and kind of fuel up and wait for their next attack.
Looks like Soap is going to take the attack here. No, actually, Schlonker's is going to take it from the midfield. Now back out across. Sky has the pass through, but Floofy's there to meet it. Zero now, most likely will take this. No, actually, Schlonker's is already up, down to the corner. Sky not there for the pass.
I like these 50 attempts from St. Ambrose. They're not always going for the shot. They just understand as long as the ball is in that attacking third, they have a lot of control over how this game is going to go. But as always, if you push too far forward, you might lead to a counter. Right there was a little dangerous. Zero, that shot lacked a lot of venom. But what is this? It's Sobara in the doorstep. Can't beat out that defender again. St. Ambrose showing their speed and in a clutch moment as well. OT in game two.
OT in game two. We've seen St. Ambrose be a little dominant on the kickoffs, just a little bit, but here the ball seems to be staying on their side. Oh, a little bit of a miss right there for Soap, but Floofy not able to capitalize. Zero now, kind of alone on defense here, but he's able to keep them at bay.
I really do like that touch from Zero, being able to settle that one down, take a 50, wait for your teammates to move on up, and then you can start something. However, it nearly got immediately derailed. That one turned into a 2v1 if not for Zero's quick challenge. Soap Bar trying to avenge themselves with an air dribble. A little bit low, but will produce something awkward for Zero to take care of. Schlonkers, again, right on his front grill to be able to meet his opponent.
It was a good 50 there out of Schlonkers. If he did lose that 50, that would have been a goal for Park. There was no one else really back for defense. So, but now Schlonkers looking to make it to the offense. Zero with the 50 across, and it's into the close corner for the goal for St. Ambrose, putting them up 2-0 in the series.
And this series is madness, but within all of that, we see the method from St. Ambrose, bringing it middle, playing for that 50, and what do you know? That's our flamethrowers there, spitting hot fire right into that bottom corner. A timeout being called for Park, and I can't really blame him.
Absolutely, and again, we saw it there right there at the end. Flamethrower was in the midfield. The pinch, or not really the pinch, but the 50 that laid up the Flamethrower right there, ready in the middle field to send it into the goal.
And I really do like that play from St. Ambrose. The thing I really love about it is that they're not fighting for their life out here. They're really making sure that if Park, you want to be in this game, you got to be fast to that. You got to be more aggressive. You have to take some risks. So right now, it's not paying off. We even saw right before OT, as we mentioned, top of the key, they had an open shot, but the rotation was too far back. They wanted to secure everything, and that's kind of the delicate balance you have to play with that sometimes does not pay off. If you want to make sure your defense is secure, that's fine. Rotate as a team, but you can't be so far back that when the chance does open up, you're kind of just watching it go by the wayside.
Absolutely. And as well, St. Ambrose, we talked about Park. They are undefeated, but St. Ambrose is ranked 4th, like we said as well, and they're not a team to shrug off your shoulders as well. Yeah, total record in the conference is 14-9. 14-9 total in the conference. So they're definitely not a losing team.
No, and they're taking a decent amount of games, and we might say, well, it's a little tough. I mean, I believe 4-3 in series overall, so you know, a little bit scraping by. But that's the thing; it's not really about how you wind up in the table, so long as there's a playoff bracket you qualify into. Because all you got to do is just win 2 best-of-7s, which players could definitely do within this atmosphere, especially when they're playing like this. I love it, top to bottom. They're looking really complete, and more importantly, they're playing with each other. Every 50 looks incredibly calculated, and I gotta say, they're taking their opportunities incredibly well. Clinical finishing from every other player, putting it into the side, putting it almost in the side netting of every single shot. So something really difficult to Park to deal with. Hopefully we do see after this timeout, Park comes out a little bit rejuvenated for their sakes, not just because they are our hosts, but really I know for all those players that they had to figure that this series would be at least a little bit more smooth sailing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about in the first game that midfield presence was really, we felt like the factor for that game one. Game two, I think it also played a factor, but I think if Park cleans up just a little bit, because they have these offensive openings and even with these counterattacks, but just one or two things go awry or a bump comes through, or maybe they just need to apply some more bumps, maybe a demo as well. And maybe that'll open up more opportunities for them to score.
I find that almost in high stress games, it's something that I don't even need stats. It's usually just so observationally based, but a lot of players do kind of forego bumps because you're just so focused on not messing up your rotation. I have to be at this point, I have to be at that point. And I feel like when you go for demos, sometimes you're a little bit too tempted to go out. So I do agree. I think that could be a good way to kind of disrupt the defense and maybe change things in your fortune. At the very least, I think we're all in agreement that Park is not playing the way that they would like, but St. Ambrose still has a long way to go, only halfway to the promised land. That grand final and a start like that, not gonna help.
Perfect. I mean, that's also something you absolutely love to see after a timeout being called from a team. They have made some sort of adjustment in their camp. Not sure if it's the midfield that we've talked about, but it's definitely the kickoffs. We've seen the kickoffs pretty dominant from St. Ambrose, but that one definitely dominated by Park.
It's one thing that we kind of forget sometimes about Rocket League is that a kickoff can be like a set piece. It's not just a restart of play. It's something that is very much a scoring opportunity if you take it well. Love the cheat up there by Floofy. So now Park has something that they really have not experienced in the series, a lead. Now it's just about how you protect it for the rest of this 4.5 minutes.
Absolutely. And so this is the first time Park's, oh no, they were up early last game as well, and then St. Ambrose came back. So I would love to see them go up 2-0 here to give them that comfortable lead. Well, let's see what they can do here on offense. The defense staying strong by St. Ambrose. So pass across the soap bar, but no one's really there. Schlonkers looking to take it out of the corner.
Zero, able to slap that one to the sidewall. I think he's looking for a double. In fact, yes, he will get that one. Soap bar, taking it all the way across, just trying to test out those 50s. But again, St. Ambrose staying pretty strong on those. High lob will find no one, so Schlonkers is going to slap that one all the way back into the corner for Sky to chase, but not much contact. He's going to have to call in Flamethrower.
Flamethrower sends it across. Floofy there to meet it. Sends it back on the offensive here, though, for St. Ambrose. Actually, no. Met with Soap Bar. Bouncing off into the corner. A little bit of a miss there. Pass through, but Schlonk with the save.
Flamethrower going to be met pretty well on that 50, but again, a little bit farther back is Park, so they're just going to slowly take this one to the corner, grab some boost, and then immediately get punished. No, Schlonkers. It was looking for that back post, but the goal was just not wide enough on that iteration.
Well, Schlonkers now back to the midfield. Soap Bar got some time. Sends it across, but Flamethrower there to meet it in a demo. There is one, but Sky, Floofy is going to beat him to it. So sends it back across. Little double commit. Hopefully that doesn't do too much damage, and it seems that it won't. Zero is there with a save from Flamethrower.
Zero now wants to be able to, again, passively build this one up. That pass is going to get away from him, and that's really just how, living on a razor's edge, Park feels like they've lived all the series. One pass almost goes right into their net, but they live to tell the tale, so now we'll have to see what comes from this clear. Not quite out from Sky. Temporary touch with Soap Bar. Well met, and a lead demo from Floofy, but not able to take advantage of it as Park.
Yeah, Flamethrower able to also take it downfield from the 50 to pass the Sky, just a little high there. Long come through, down, crossbar. The save from the teammate. The teammate was not able to be there in time, but now the counterattack. Zero on the offense turns into a Park goal. They are now up 2-0 here in game number 3.
And they're really, the lines between defense and offense on Rocket League are incredibly thin. Sometimes they're one in the same. Immediate counterattack from Park. And I do like the presence of mind there on the sidewall. Some people might just clear it forward, maybe try to score themselves, but the ball will move faster than you individually. Pass down into Zero, 2-0 from Park. Timeout, really doing wonders.
Absolutely, and back on that last play, if Sky had touched the ball, it would have been 100% goal for St. Ambrose, but because of that commitment and the miss, turns into that very fast counterattack for Park on the goal.
Floofy loved that cut through, slicing through the defense, almost getting a goal on their own, but not able to truly put that one in from a crazy angle. Zero. Well, at least keep things somewhat lively. I think Floofy decided against that one. I think he might have been able to win it, but maybe just taking the more careful route is all of Park right before Soap plays it right on back, as right now St. Ambrose feels like they're almost playing just catch up, right? Almost like a game of keep away, it seems like, from Park.
Yeah, and with a minute 38, the carry there. Good save out of Soap Bar, approaching that minute 30 mark. Up by 2-0. St. Ambrose is looking to get on the board pretty quickly here if they want to eventually take the lead here in game number 3.
It's one of those things where you don't necessarily have to wait and be patient and wait for that first goal. You just have to make sure you get something. But as this clock ticks down, I think more and more they're going to start holding down that accelerator, especially if Floofy can do something about that. It's a good flick. Maybe if it was 30 yards more out as that one goes a bit too much power. But at the very least, it keeps things lively. Zero shows exactly why. Seems fairly denied for maybe a third.
Absolutely here. Floofy with a demo as well, or Zero with a demo, actually. And Zero's also up. The touch, does he have another one? He does, but not quite towards the net, as he may have hoped. Soaked. Just trying to keep it in their half, really. Park is happy to play on this side of the field, up 2-0, 45 seconds. See, I mean, they would love to get another one on the board here as the pass is up to Soap. Soap down in, but it's actually saved by Zero. Unfortunate there.
One of those awkward moments, especially if on the counter you give something up, but no, they will stay steadfast, and maybe the dunk actually goes all the way in off the post. So far, it's going to be breathing down the neck of that defender to make sure that they're aware that they have to get there and play it cleanly. Final 20, honestly, this might be the final attack or one of from St. Ambrose, and they're immediately going to be turned back.
Yeah, here, only 10 seconds remaining. They're going to need to get on the board as soon as possible, but seems that Zero here has a different plan in mind. He wants to go up, or he wants to win this here, get themselves on the board, and it looks like they will do that. St. Ambrose is still 2, has 2 in the series, but Park is the one on the board here.
And really do like that from Park, taking the timeout, and that's exactly why you have your timeouts at your disposal, to be able to sit things down and really, honestly, just calm everyone down. Because I think sometimes you get a little carried away. You lose one game, it's fine, shake it off. You lose a second, and then you start saying, oh, God, this is the team we're supposed to be. This is supposed to be the easy game, and then you get kind of into your head. So maybe Coach Bass coming in there with Park saying, all right, we know what we have to do. Let's slow things down. Let's return to those passing, that second goal there on the counterattack from Park. Really nice to see that. Something we really haven't seen them do to much success. And now St. Ambrose is the one that has to maybe fiddle with the idea of maybe if the next game doesn't really go their way, they might also have to take that TO.
Absolutely. And it's also good to see them score right off rip this game, especially coming off timeout, those adjustments. I did see a little bit more midfield presence, I felt like, especially when they were on the offensive. They were definitely able to play in the midfield and keep the ball on the offensive instead of constantly fighting back from the defensive half there for that game. So,
yeah, maybe a bit of some call stealing coming in from Park. One thing I definitely really liked out of St. Ambrose in the former games is I'm a huge fan of, if the defense is panicking, let them panic. I don't care if you clear the ball, because you're just going to clear it right to me. And felt like a couple times Park, they knew they had the advantage, and then they kind of just backed off. Ball get thrown in the midfield, and then it got thrown right back. I think it's a great way for Park to continue their offense. And as we've seen, they're not afraid to go to the backboard. Not too much success with that outside of a 0 goal a little bit earlier on in game 2. But as we head into game number 4, we're having to see, does Park have it in them? Make this an even series, or is that game just a temporary blip in the former St. Ambrose dominance within this series?
No kickoff goal, but the pass is there, but it's just off the mark. Park getting a little bit lucky there, having no one there, but Soaked Bar able to carry it across, but now Zero into the corner. Schlonkers looks to carry it out to mid, and there's another beautiful pass play by St. Ambrose to put them up 1-0 here in this match.
Dishes perfectly from Schlonkers. I really like that soft touch to be able to bait in the defense, but also to perfectly let himself line it up to be able to dime his teammate. Not even a running start, but you don't need it when it's right on top of your hood. As I said, no kickoff goal, but might as well be one for St. Ambrose within 30 seconds to kick them off on the right foot.
Absolutely. And Park now, I want to see how they retaliate here. If they gonna, well, actually the net is open, but Floofy's there to pinch the save right off the top. See what they can do here. I'm hoping to see them on the offense here. A little counterattack. Ooh, but the 50 goes in favor of St. Ambrose.
And these bounces also aren't helping. 0-1 to the sidewall, then immediately realized that is not where he needed. A little bit of a double commit there from St. Ambrose. Not going to harm him as that one ricochets again to the side wall. Zero. A little bit difficult for Flamethrower to deal with. That's why he doesn't back post read, and all the Park sitting back, not able to take advantages. One player's going up, kind of foraging for some passes, and they're not going to be able to find one. Double commit in the defense, just barely going to be reached by Sky.
It's really second touch there by Sky as well, because Soap was waiting right underneath him, so it was a good second touch by Sky there as well. Could have possibly been a goal there for Park, but now on the offensive is St. Ambrose, but Zero looking to possibly carry this one out if he can to Floofy. Keeps it down on the ground. Schlonkers met by Soapbar in the midfield. Floofy, just a little touch. Trying to keep it on the offensive. A nice demo might open up a goal here.
Oh, that's a heavy pinch clear. Something that's definitely going to have St. Ambrose taking a deep breath and really just resetting the rotation. Now, leaping into action, Flamethrower to himself off the corner. Soapbar has to backflip that one, but that is not what a possession makes. Zero has to rescue things and then lob another one down for Floofy. Off corner, Zero quickly up to it, doesn't have the read. Back to mid we go into a temporary 1v1 until Soapbar plays some hero.
Absolutely, Slonkers here. Looking to try and get that pass out to the midfield to his teammate, but not quite able to get that as Floofy counters. Zero now, just trying to keep it, but Slonkers has other plans. Soaps sending it off into the corner.
Floofy trying to get a double, and so he will. Stealing some boost, but gonna give up the ball at that expense. Soapbar, pinch, Flamethrower, reaching for it. Zero is there. It gets enough of a deflection, St. Ambrose, to be able to keep things alive. Floofy, maybe a little bit panicked there on that flick. Schlonkers, he knows an invitation, and he's not gonna turn it down. Jumps right into action, be able to get one out. So now try number 2 for Park. Soaped into Flamethrower, and again, just in the right position. Here comes another double commit, but another clear as well.
Yeah, and Sky here met with the 50 in the midfield by Soapbar, but then it's cleared out again by Schlonkers. Zero does have the touch there to send it into the corner. Park all back on defense here. A little bit of a misread from the touch there, I think, from Soap. He wanted it to go to a certain direction, but now it's off into the corner. 50 met. It's up to Soapbar. There's a big 50 here. Good win. Sends it across the midfield instead of on the offensive half for St. Ambrose.
Zero looking for a double, but just too close. Can't react in time. That ball is getting past everybody. Flamethrower almost as surprised as anyone else. Sky looking for a back post. It looked like most of that was covered up by Park, so they'll be able to take a deep breath and extend yet again into the midfield. That pass, they're trying to find Zero. I mean, Guy is usually very hungry, but I have to say he's not eating too much. Really only a singular goal we're seeing out of him today.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I mean, St. Ambrose, their defense has been really strong. I mean, they're shutting down currently the player of the conference, player of the year, Zero, keeping him at bay. So you have to really just give acknowledgement to their defense they're having this series.
And right now they have to keep it going, though, because they're not necessarily the most massive lead is 1-0. It's the most precarious in the sport for obvious reasons. In the final 50 seconds, it seems like they're not really even caring because they want to add even more. 1-2 off the wall. Flamethrower gives them a cushion.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see here, only Zero back for Park. He's not able to really get the touch he may have wanted in a 1v3 situation, but there's not much he could have done. Even if he gets the perfect touch, there's still 3 offensive players there ready to attack.
It's the rough part of that trade-off of playing a bit more forward thinking and saying, okay, let's try to really take some risks. That it's a double-edged sword. The farther you push upfield, the less you have in the back to protect against counters like that. And St. Ambrose certainly not messing around on those counters, but you could say the same against Park. Floofy getting yet another one for his tally on the series to cut it to 1.
Absolutely, and anything can happen in Rocket League. I like this. It's almost a little bit of a fake there from Soap. He makes the defender almost rush his defense there because he knows he has his teammate back with the open net.
It's one of my favorite types of reads is you get a lot of kind of pressure thrown off your back when you're that first player saying, I know this is a weird read, but even if I miss, I'm sure it's going to be kind of setting up that next player to have an easy one. And exactly what happened. Park, they are not out of it. In fact, they're right in the thick of things. Floofy trying to make sure they continue this offensive excellence late stage. I thought with a pass, but it'll get back to it in time. Soaped, rolling it around. Final 10 seconds. Park, do you have enough in the tank to push forward one more time?
Can they keep the ball alive here? Zero is going to keep it up. Oh no, but Schlocks is there for the top, and it is going to set it down for a St. Ambrose win here, going up 3-1 in this best of 5 series.
We have a huge issue here coming in from Park because obviously St. Ambrose is playing well above kind of their weight here in these weight classes. Because as we mentioned, this is fourth versus first seed in St. Ambrose coming in 4-3. Park 7-0. St. Ambrose is on match point. They have taken 3 wins against Park in this series. Keep in mind, Park has only lost 6 games the entirety of the season prior to this series. This is a massive undertaking for St. Ambrose. Huge fan of what they're doing right now.
Absolutely, and we're going to have to take a break here. Should be an issue going on in the Park camp. Hopefully they can get that figured out, and hopefully Floofy is okay.
Yeah, apparently a little bit of a nosebleed coming in from one of the players. So not typically something you have to deal with in an esports environment. No one's elbowing you in the face, but who knows? Maybe someone got so pumped that someone actually did elbow you. Anything could happen. This isn't COD, so it's maybe not as rowdy, but at the very least, yes, we do have some stuff that might come in. So maybe an accidental timeout coming in from good old Mother Nature. But either way, yes, we will have a bit of a break here. And I think in a way, Park might be saying that might be a blessing in disguise. You have a chance at a second timeout, or at least for St. Ambrose, just being able to be iced in some respects, or otherwise they just have more time to be able to gather things down, say, hey, job's not done. We still have to make sure we shut this team down because they are first seed coming into this for a reason.
Absolutely. And I think we should maybe touch on they have shut down Zero, but I think they've been playing a really good defense just in general against Park. We know we've talked about Park's had a little bit some missed touches maybe or something like that, but St. Ambrose's defense is definitely held up the wall against Park here.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I'm noticing from St. Ambrose is really how they have actually been able to play a little bit more flex. They are giving up some shots, but the one thing I'm really respecting them for is they're not giving a lot of direct shots. Every backboard read they're on, Schlonkers has actually been really good at not hesitating whatsoever. As I mentioned, there's a lot of problems from teams when you play as the lower seed. You want to give respect to the other team, but you give them too much space. You let them develop. You let them get air dribbles off. You let them get uncontested touches. But instead, he's just like, no, I'm just going for it. I'm just jumping right at everything. And it's working him because he's winning a majority of it. I've loved how Schlonkers has played, even though he's kind of set back a little bit. Sky and Flamethrower really getting most of the goals here. Schlonkers has been involved and he's leading the charge, but as we mentioned, the charge is on the doorstep of the grand finals. He's not actually in there. He's not through that threshold. Still got to win one more game. Park has to engineer kind of a mini sweep on the reverse to be able to come back into this one and really show that this seeding is no fluke.
Absolutely. And I'd love to see an early goal here out of Park like they had after the last. While this wasn't a timeout, they did get a little bit of a break here. I'd love to see an early goal. Park go up early here. You'd love to see that for their chances to continue on in this series.
And as we don't really know the psychological aspects of this team, I'm honestly curious to talk to either one of these winners afterwards and manage an interview, but at least for the most part, I know St. Ambrose, they're riding a high, but sometimes you ride a little too much, you get bucked off, so hopefully that's not the case here, as again, they're trying to close out this series against the favorites and hosts. Floofy going to try to get something started, but so much boost he can carry in that tank.
Absolutely. Actually, a demo comes through, a very important one there from Flamethrower that's going to open that the ball to just roll in here.
That's a tough one from so far. It's not even necessarily a bad clear. It's only problematic as Flamethrower made it so. Lurking through the backfield, just testing to see if anyone is not paying attention. And apparently that goalie is looking at something else, maybe a bit downfield. He had to be paying attention to the near-sided threat there. After just about a minute already, St. Ambrose has started the death timer.
Absolutely here. And St. Ambrose, across this entire series, when they have gone up early in the match, it's tend to not be, well, good looks for Park, but hopefully they can get on the board here and tie it up here.
Sky taking a careful touch. Soap just making sure he's not going to be having too much peace of mind. He immediately bumps him, which means Floofy can march on forward, but Zero is sit behind him. He's not in the midfield, not able to actually get on top of that one. Flamethrower trying not to make the same mistake, just escorting the ball down, and now a long clear for Schlonkers to deal with, and boy does he, right into the corner, perfectly placed.
Yeah, and Floofy is a great clear, but again, no real offensive presence being able to made from it. They're already back on the defense. Park having to defend against almost a counter attack from what was an amazing clear for Park, turned to counter. But now Flamethrower just going to keep it here in the corner, trying to play defense, trying to get his team to get back. But Zero is up. Maybe a pass here. Met on the backboard from Schlonkers.
So far, not able to get that read. It's a tough one, particularly because Schlonkers has no reservations about letting that one sit. Could be open from Flamethrower. He's going to throw that one across, and I got to say, Park was kind of looking at each other, I feel like, on defense, wondering if the other guy had that one. Luckily, it didn't look like either of them was really needed. Coming to offense, we have Floofy, man of the hour lately, looking for a double. Ooh. It was on target, but that last defender perfectly placed.
Yes, and looks like St. Ambrose looking to make it a little bit of an offensive push here. A little awkward in net, but the ball does just bounce. It's okay for Park because they're now going to take it on the offensive. The ball is up, but met again on the back wall by Flamethrower.
Soaped, I do like that arrow. Don't necessarily like that he had a companion on that one. Bit of a double commit, going to set them back, but Zero still able to keep things somewhat lively. Gets the first 50 through, not the second, as Floofy will deflect to Soap Bar. Side wall past Flamethrower, but again, Schlonkers is there. Back post available until Zero touches that first one and then squirts the second follow-up to a flick down the sideline. Under 2 minutes, still behind is Park.
Yeah, I like to see that. Over 2. The demo comes through in net, but the ball floats right over Soap Bar. Very unfortunate there for Park, but they are back. Hopefully get a little passing play going, but no, he is met there by Schlonkers, who's going to bring it down and in. What a goal there from Schlonkers.
And I said this man was getting a little quiet lately, and he took that as an insult. Look at that read. That is not easy at all. Hitting off the edge of the lip on the top ropes. That one is so difficult. Players of thousands and thousands of hours miss those reads every day, but this man on match point in a LAN tournament is really coming through, delivering for his squad. Park University, honestly, at this point, I think they just gotta go. They cannot be playing passive because surely that's just not working. Not like this. It's right to Sky, and he does not miss.
Yeah, absolutely here. And I mean, the 2-0, but now the 3-0 with the quick retaliation, the quick goal again. St. Ambrose is setting themselves up for a series win here of Park. They got to do something here on this kickoff.
And when we say that, sometimes we're just saying, well, you know, it'd be ideal. I really agree with that sentiment. Yeah, they really do have to get something going maybe on this attack or the next, because granted, with 80 seconds and kickoffs and really how fast-paced Rocket League can be, it's possible, but I always kind of hate talking like that because right now, the way that this play is going, I don't know if it is. St. Ambrose, 9 shots to Park's 3 all of this game. Park not only is struggling to play defense, they're struggling to even get forward and get some shots off at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know Park. We see the stats. We've seen them play. We know the type of team that they are. But it seems like they just can't really find that sort of motion. They can't get into the flow that they need to get into here.
Sky deflected to the side wall. Soap is there. Zero chasing it down, but who else but Schlonkers? I gotta say, my pick for an MVP candidate if you're looking for one. He is everywhere on this field. He's made all the clutch saves. He's playing the midfield well, and right now he's leading his team to what has to be a guaranteed victory at a certain point. Another touch to the side, cutting out the pass.
Yes, absolutely. Schlonkers has been very dominant here in this series. But the season MVP, Zero, unfortunate, a little bit more quiet, and that's just the St. Ambrose. They've really just been heavy on the defense, but as I say that, so far is on the board for Park here. 12 seconds remaining, and if there's anything that Rocket League is known for, is that the game's not done till it's done.
Yeah, 3 goals is untenable. 2 goals is a glimpse at victory. They have to get something off this kickoff because every clear milks so much time off the clock. That's delayed. It's so far.
Oh,
it's
so
a flick. 8 seconds for Park to do the unthinkable.
Soaped Bar making that glimmer in the eye possible now. 8 seconds remaining, only down by 1. Another kickoff situation here for Park, though.
I mean, pulling off a kickoff miracle twice in a row, that's a tall ask, and it doesn't look like they're going to be having it easy. St. Ambrose sending it forward. Zero keeping it close. A clear means that they need to be able to get that touch. Floofy keeps the dream alive. So Bar with time. Sky doesn't want to have him have that one. Dunked down. St. Ambrose. Don't call it a Cinderella run. They're playing like favorites. They're going to take down first-seeded Park, and they'll be our first grand finalist.
Absolutely. GG's across the board from both teams there. Park, you love to see the glimpse of what was possibility there, but in the end, St. Ambrose comes out on top.
And it's a tough one to see, certainly from Park. I know that their spirits were high going into today, but I can't really blame them. I'm not saying Park is playing poorly. I think St. Ambrose really threw them through a loop. This is a team 4-3 in the regular season. They lost against Park in the league play, and yet if I'm coming into this, I have to say I'm a new guest into this league. I would have not expected, if you hid my eyes, I would have said St. Ambrose is the favorites. They were playing fast, they're playing furious, and honestly, every single shot looked dangerous. It really kept Park on their back heels for most of that series.
Yeah, and I think St. Ambrose just kept Park from being who they really are in this series. Maybe they weren't prepared for maybe as aggressive St. Ambrose was or what it was, but Park definitely just didn't seem to be in that same sort of flow as they have been this entire series. Or not series, but season.
Yeah, I got to say, that's a heartbreaker. I've been there before in lands, witnessing a team that came in real confident, and they know they have that weight of expectations. Not really sure if that's necessarily going to weigh on them in this scenario, or really what got to them. But either way, heck of a season from them to be able to get to this point in general, but it will come to an end to St. Ambrose. They fourth seed, the team that just scraped on in the bottom of the barrel, really, for playoff teams. And yet they're the ones that are going to be moving on. No game 7 required. We'll have to see really how that's going to shape up as we see our next team, maybe in our next semifinal coming up a little bit later, Central Methodist and Missouri Valley. So clearly still a lot to play with here, Rido.
Absolutely. And that should be a really good matchup, as records wise, Central Methodist 6-1, Missouri Valley 5-2. So that's going to be real. Those are really good. They had really good seasons. There's not really that 7-0 to 4-3 for this one. These are both very dominant teams.
Yeah, neck and neck. And if we've learned anything from series number 1, anything can happen. So we're going to throw to a quick break, and then we'll be able to potentially get back with a little bit of an interview with someone from Ambrose, pick their brain about what was going on.
I'm on my own, broken and alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare, 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me, that's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me, hold your hand while the pain was over, keep you warm by the roaring like shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere. Yeah. I prayed for you and kept you near in hopes you'd chase away my fears. I'm on my own, you made it so, and now I'm chasing nightmares. I used to run with you through the great big leaves, laugh at you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home was just you and me. I thought you were the one for me.
You can guys just stuff in the back behind me.
Hi, welcome back here. We are with Flamethrower from St. Ambrose. You guys took the series there from Park.
Yeah,
How
we did.
are you feeling?
Feeling great, honestly. We came into this LAN expecting or hoping to get an upset. I mean, playing the #1 seed is always a difficult challenge coming in as #4, and we knew it was going to be tough, so we had to give it our all, and that's what we did, and it worked.
Absolutely. And coming into this event, we know that you guys had to travel, and this is a LAN. Is this your guys' first LAN as a team together, the three of you, or have you guys played? How much experience do you guys have as a team?
So we've had many LANs together as a team, but the roster members have changed over the years. This is our second LAN, I believe, with this exact roster.
Very nice, very nice. And did you guys have any sort of like plan going in against Park, or was it kind of just play your own game, play your own play style, nothing to really counter? Walk me through that. What was your guys' sort of game plan for the day?
So we've been really working a lot on our rotations because that was something that we really struggled with in the mid-season, and we've made a lot of progress through that thanks to some great coaches and some of the stuff and a lot of work that we put in as a team. And we knew that if we were able to hold a solid rotation, that we felt like we could outplay Park Esports, and we did. So we're happy with how we played.
Very nice, very nice. And we also saw there had a lot of. Did you feel like you guys had the sort of going into it? You guys felt like you had the advantage after you'd been all this practices. You guys were feeling very confident against Park. Previously, you guys lost in the season. Did you guys sort of like take that and maybe some review over it and prepare in that sort of way as well?
We had a lot of VODs. We had a lot of time working over the stuff that we made. We came in thinking that we were one of the stronger teams, and when halfway through the season we started taking a lot of losses, we knew we had to change some stuff around, and we did a really good job with that. And I really felt like coming into this, a lot of people thought that we were going to be the underdogs because we were the lowest seed, and we thought we could use that to our advantage and take them by surprise.
Yeah, and I think you guys absolutely did. I mean, you guys played really, really well, and also a dominant victory in the series as well for map count as well. But now your guys' next matchup in the finals will either be Central Methodist or Missouri Valley. Is there any in one of those teams specifically you'd like to see play? Either one? Anything for that? Thoughts on your next opponents?
We want to play Central Methodist. We feel like in the season we had a really unfortunate series against them, and we want revenge.
Very nice, very nice. Well, it's been a good interview with Flamethrower, and we wish you the best of luck in the grand finals.
Thank you for having me.
No point in blaming you, you did not know. Oh, I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me.
I gave you everything, held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Savoring this moment, is this our last goodbye? Haven't we learned each other? I guess one of us lied. So please just pull away. I can't look you in the face. I don't wanna have to lie. I wanted this love to survive. Now when I look in your I feel paralyzed.
Hello and welcome back to yet another series to add to the docket for the Heart of America Conference Championship Tournament on land and held by Park University. I'm still Danger Taco. That is still Rido in the booth. And we saw a Duvziva match. Ambrose taking down the tournament favorites 4-1 to be our first grand finalist. And now we're going to pivot on over to Central Methodist, the 2 seed, going up against the 4 seed or 3rd seed Missouri Valley for our second semifinal.
Yeah, and I was looking at some of the stats for these two teams, and it looks like Central has actually the most scored goals out of the entire season, with 120 total goals. That is a lot of goals for an entire season.
I mean, really cranking it forward. It's always nice to see. Of course, it doesn't always translate to wins, as we see. They're in the 2nd seed coming in, but certainly does serve them well. I know we saw in that interview that Ambrose called out Central Methodist. They wanted to play that team because they got so close to getting a victory and then they couldn't quite do it. So maybe they'll get their wish if this time the seeding does pay off. But either way, I definitely think it's in for an exciting day. We've already seen a twist in the tail, and right now we're just trying to see whether or not things can continue as I guess not as planned based on what we've seen so far. But I would say Central Methodist is definitely one of those teams that I've actually heard of as trying to pick up the recruitment efforts, really trying to bring in the best talent they can, the money from the university, trying to invest in that recruitment effort. And we'll have to see whether or not that pays off. Definitely a team that wants to make sure that they kind of put their best foot forward and have a representation saying, hey, in this region of the country, we are one of the best programs you can land yourselves in. And now they have a chance to get some accolades potentially today to prove it.
Absolutely. And we talked about last series how this was Park's home territory. They didn't really have to travel as much as maybe these other teams, but both Missouri Valley and Central Methodist had to travel for this land. So didn't seem to play too much of a factor for the last game, the travel part, but maybe one of these teams it just might, or maybe first time on land for these teams as well. We asked in the last for the last team, St. Ambrose, this was not their first time playing together on land, so that may have been a factor as well for St. Ambrose.
It's definitely a different environment, as well as the kind of the obvious things is that you're not playing on your PC. I know a lot of players I've heard struggle sometimes as they're playing on certain setups, certain frame rates, and honestly, just the different temperature in the room sometimes. Sometimes players play with the AC crank. Sometimes they like to just put on a hoodie and a bit warmer, but I don't know. There's a billion different things that influence players. At the end of the day, it feels like you're still seeing players play to their heart's content and play the way that they want to, at least if you're St. Ambrose. So Central Methodist and Missouri Valley, travel concerns aside, they can still make something happen here. And I'm curious to see once this happens, once they're all into lobby, as we're slowly getting them to join on up. And as we mentioned on land, I mean, decent vibe that we have so far here. And I'm curious to see whether or not these players are also adjusting to it as well as St. Ambrose has.
Exactly. And what we talked about a little bit before the break previously, both these teams record-wise, very, very dominant in the entire season. I mean, total of 3 losses between both of these teams, a total of 3. Central Methodist 6-1, Missouri Valley 5-2. So both teams, even though one is ranked 2 and one is ranked 3, definitely could have been switching those positions. Very close game I think we're going to have here.
Certainly not messing around, and as we saw before, we didn't get to see really the full extent of the series. Ambrose taking down Park in a 4-1 fashion. This is, in fact, a best of 7 still. Same with our grand finals, obviously. So we have a lot of space to move around here. If we see a back and forth series, if we see kind of a dominant start, it's really not to say much about how it's going to end up. So I'm really looking for a bit of a back and forth here, as I think maybe a couple sucker punches early on from St. Ambrose maybe made their opponents a bit dizzy, but Central Methodist and Missouri Valley, as you mentioned, 3 series losses, not too much to go around, and now someone's going to have to at least be dealt with 4 game losses as they are going to be going forward into that grand final and maybe at least get their way into a podium potentially. So as we seem to have everybody in here, it looks like we will be able to kick things off here. Central Methodist and Missouri Valley, a best of 7 to see who's going to grands.
Absolutely here. And it looks like Grand wants to start the game off. Oh, almost started off with a double touch there early. That would have been an insane kickoff goal.
It's always nice to be able to get something like that. And I always like just immediately testing the backboard, as it keeps the defense honest, is that, yeah, you want to creep up, you want to get right on top of the ball, but sometimes just a simple lob up and over the top is really all it takes to completely undo the defense.
Absolutely here. And we see a nice little touch from Adam there, able to keep it out of their net. Grand, a little bit of a miss, but teammate there to follow it up. Miss puts it in the corner now. Touch in through, but the save comes through from Adam, keeping it in the corner.
Oh, solid touch there from Squirrel. Now let's just pick out that top corner. This play. to be somewhat well touched away to the corner, but Squirrel send it right on back. Serdonk, I want that one back, a bit heavy of a touch, which means Pain Thriller could be potentially extending things, but Adams Parkway getting in the way and getting some more 50s as this ball continues to ricochet around, looking for our first.
Absolutely. Pain thrower there is there for the connect though. Pass over, he's gonna go up for it, but he is met by Grand Season. Grand Season looking to turn this into an offensive push here. And actually on net, no. Pain with the stop there. Good save, a tricky one at that, but it is the save through for them.
Serdonk up and over the top. Adams trying to get the open goal, but what a save by Pain Thriller. Jumping backwards at the flawless angle to be able to tap that one to safety. Squirrel's able to extend it somewhat and get it back out to the sidewall, but you gotta be thinking if you're Central Methodist, you gotta be shaking your head wondering how is that not in?
Oh, and I mean, that was 2 saves there you see some from Pain Thriller, 2 critical saves actually to really keep them scoreless here in this season. Serdonk looking to put one down in, but no, Squirrel is able to counter.
They throw a really heavy deflection. Maybe wants that one back, but not necessarily anything too harmful so long as this attack doesn't go the way of Central Methodist, and indeed it will not. Adams taking this all the way back, and now across is Serdonk. Gonna try to escort that one alongside them as Squirrel not gonna get it. Serdonk, he indeed is gonna be the backup that was required. 1-0.
There it is, first on the board. Serdonk, nice over this play, not able to get back in time either. Good goal there from them.
I think a lot of players are always so focused on getting your air dribbles, getting your infield passes, but sometimes you just gotta glance upfield, notice, I think the defense is a bit farther forward than they probably should be, and knocking into the open net. They all count the same after all, even if it's not on the highlight reel. Squirrel, likewise, knowing that, went for the simple play right on target, but it's a bit too high, misplay, looking for a touch, and really everybody bought into that one. Kind of awkward play through the midfield, but no harm done. We'll be seeing Gan Season hit that one for a slow bounce back to the orange side as Adams gets a double, only to be met by Pain Thriller.
Absolutely here, and well, a lot of corner play here. A little awkward touches in the midfield in the corner, but maybe we'll get back to those rotations, back to the flow. As you see now on the defensive here is CMU, but save comes through off to the side. Gan Season, awkward, a little bit awkward on the wall, but oh no, the save comes through from Serdonk. A little bit of misplays there, but they will be okay.
Gan slapping that one into the corner and kind of overflips on that one. Not able to get forward as Gan, so Squirrel takes not only one, but a second 50 misplay on the follow through. And I think right now everybody's trying to make sure their formations are solidified up. We don't see a lot of immediate follow throughs, but you gotta have something because Pain Thriller bearing down on Adams with the half rotation just to be able to shut that one down, but only for so long. It's misplay through the corner and in between decisions on that one. Not necessarily any connections being found so far. Still just 1 goal in it for Central Methodist.
And Missouri Valley's really keeping the pressure here. They've, oh, the pass through. No, not quite. Serdonk with the save again. But I got to give it to Missouri Valley. They're really keeping the pressure here.
Yeah, difficulty is I think they're getting a bit of tunnel vision. Looked like they potentially had a pass off that backboard to get into the third player, but instead they went for a hard angle shot. I think the odds that going in are a little bit less than your teammate being able to hop on top of it, but at the end of the day, they're in the thick of things. Hard to see everything so clearly. That has to be on the doorstep. Pain Thriller will deliver 1-1.
Absolutely here, and I might see, is it a double commit here that happens? Just a little bit that leaves the net open, but Pain Thrower, nice, able to get it down there from that upward pass.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about when I say it keeps the defense honest, keep throwing to the backboard. It's why it's one of the most important things to defend on your backwards rotations when you're getting back to protect that goal. You have to be aware of those high lobs, because if you're not, then everybody starts looking at each other. You start jumping for the same stuff, and what seems like a conventional attack turns into the goal. That really spells your doom, but really no doom to be found yet. Still 1-1, really just reset everything. We're back to square one up until maybe Squirrel has a chance, but not only that, he gets met by a defender and cleared all the way back down.
Absolutely here, Gan Season looking to give his teammates a little bit of a pass here possibly, and it's gonna stand there for Adam to go up 2-1 here for Central Methodist.
So incredibly close, but again, we're seeing the backboard rear its head. Squirrel goes so quick to it, in fact, too quickly, as he's not able to adjust in time. You see him leaning back to get the correct read, and yet it was just a bit too late. 1 one on Adams and Sir Donk getting their goals, leading their team to a lead, but you know, it can be so quickly squandered. Adams trying to make sure that is not the case with a nice air dribble into a flip reset.
Good touches there. Only 5 seconds remaining on the board here. Looking to carry it across. They're going to need to get on the board here. They want a chance. Squirrel didn't let it touch. Keeps it up. Nice little touch up to Paint Thriller. Adams going to keep it to cross. No, and it is going to touch, giving Central Methodist the first win of the series. 1-0.
Really do like how that one is slowly developed from them. It is really not too many shots to speak of from Central Methodist. 33% shooting from the field, 6 in total shots. So really taking care of the business in front of the goal is really what they were focused on. But it was definitely kept interesting by Missouri Valley. 6 shots by Squirrel alone, and at a certain point, that's where it gets a little tilting. Where you're saying, how many more do I need until eventually something starts to fall our way? One goal simply just not quite enough, at least in this first game.
Absolutely, and I think you hit on it earlier. The backboard play possibly could be something Missouri Valley looks to adjust. I don't really think they need to adjust much. This was a pretty close game, really anyone's game. Like you said, 6 shots as well. Any one of those could have just fallen in. So interested to see how game 2 goes here.
And I think Missouri Valley, if you're going to talk about anything, I definitely think, well, they're taking advantage of the backboard, but we also had our fair amount of chances here. So make sure we keep going to that well, so long as the other team is giving it to us. So if we do see that continue for Missouri Valley, that's great, but certainly the reads have to be pristine. As we notice, the margins of error at the top here, this is a championship after all. If you don't have those clean reads on defense, it's almost like the moment you fly by it, it's going to go into your net. It seemed like that was the pattern for Central Methodist. We're loading into game number 2, seeing if the pattern can continue for our side in blue, or whether or not Missouri Valley has a response after that short break.
Absolutely, Heron. You'd love to see Missouri Valley go up early here and kick off. Actually, Sir Donk, nice little 50 there to send it on their side with the demo, leaving this net almost open. But no, Squirrel is there for the touch on the back wall save.
Adams with the back pass, leaving to Gand, and again, high lob. Paint throw, not going to get that one, but that's why misplay is there. No misplay, no living up to the username that time. Sir Donk on the revenge tour, potentially, but that pass a bit too spicy for him. Can't get onto the end of it, so looks like Missouri Valley will live to see another attack.
Absolutely here, and they seem to be trying to do a counter. Sir Donk, that was a close touch, almost went into the corner of the net, but it doesn't. Tries to carry it over there from misplay, but now over across as Adams looking to do something here, but no, the ball comes back across Sir Donk over to the field, and a little bit of a double kill from both teams, I think. A good save, could have been catastrophic, but good save nonetheless.
Really almost really a double commit in the midfield, but almost turned into a double tap from misplay. Not able to get it, but then that awkward moment where every single player on your team is right next to the ball, but no one's in the position to hit his. Squirrel got a redemption. They're not going to live up to it. Misplay, a bounce down, also off target. Paint Thriller, they're pulling 360s just to be able to get into position, and yet they're having to fight through everybody right now in Central Methodist. This attack will unfortunately be diffused for them, and have to go all the way back to midfield just to try again, but that corner read only doing so much. How about a midfield pass? Gand able to step in just in time.
And looking for a counterattack here. No, just right under Sir Donk. He tried to hit it right on the edge to put it on net. Not quite there, but the counterattacks are there from Central Methodist. They're looking for him.
Gand unfortunately spawned in the right time, but got the clear, and only so much. Sir Donk with a little bit of a dicey pre-flip. That one almost looked like it could have been an own goal, but they're going to be able to wipe the sweat off their brow and continue into the next shot. How about this one? Misplay. Could be playing a bit too far forward, and they're going to fly up and over that read. Still somehow 0-0 in this game, despite Missouri Valley's best efforts.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now you have an absolute car wreck on the center of the boost there, but everyone's able to roll out, get back on the rotations now. Squirrel putting one up into the corner. A little double commit again there from the defense, but they are safe for now.
Like this from misplay, trying to keep it close. Problem is a bit too low on that one. That's fine. Squirrel is there. Quick flick as well, and this is what I'm talking about. They're keeping him high and also making sure Central Methodist, every time you creep out, there's going to be a cost to it. And right now it seems like because they can't get possession, only one singular shot for them, because right now they're racking up a different stat. It's all saves for them. And yet another one right there, and now on the counter again, trying to make sure it counts, but Sir Donk not fast enough.
Absolutely there. And we've seen the counter plays come through. While you feel like they've been on defense a lot, the counter attacks have been there, but they've just not been able to put one on target quite yet. So Donk looking to carry it out now. Off the wall here. No, he's going to let the play the bounce. Possible pass here, but Pain Throw is there to stop the offensive push. And he carries it as well across. Well played there by Pain Thrower.
I think Adam's almost kind of predicting the pressure, is letting it be absorbed. I've seen a couple times now where he doesn't challenge to the very last moment. It works until it doesn't, I suppose, as right now it seems like Central Methodist playing some goal line defense, trying to set up that iron curtain, and at least for right now, defense might win championships, but certainly not winning them this game right now. Eventually, they feel like they have to get forward. Maybe this could be the moment. That's a dicey one in front of goal. Sir Donk gonna Sir Dunk that one in for number 1.
Absolutely, and you love to see on the board. Finally here is CMU. Squirrel almost had the save there, but not quite. Sir Donk hits it that second time there to secure the goal.
And you can see just how brutal this game can be. Missouri Valley knocking on the door for 4 minutes straight, and then the one attack that gets away from them a little bit, that awkward touch in the midfield, it's going to be sent right home by Sir Donk. But that's what these high-seeded teams like Central Methodist do. You can have them on the ropes the whole game, but them getting a free shot, and sometimes that's going to be how this one ends. But this is not how it ends, because we still got 60 seconds. Adams Parkway knows it. He's clearing just to waste more time.
Absolutely here, Sir Donk trying to give a little pass for his teammates there, but not quite. But now misplay off the wall. Over one on target. Adams there for the save, though. We've seen Adam make quite a bit of crucial saves here for CMU, so very clutch for that.
I think that's kind of the role that you have to play for your team. I think sometimes you think of players as offensive and defensive minded, but you really have to be both to be among really the best in really any tournament, any competition. Adam, and they certainly getting his chops in on defense. Now can his teammates follow suit? That's a double. Squirrel, late challenge, but it's gonna strike true in the clutch with 20 to go.
Absolutely here, and you see Gand here go for the top, both of them really, and neither one connecting. Super unfortunate. Leaves the bottom open, which Squirrel hits right on the nail.
And again, that backboard, gotta be ready for it. It's always right around the corner, and if they don't have the boost to get up for it, sometimes you're gonna have a tragic outcome. Could this be another one? Not with that demo misplay. Sent all the way back. Pain Thriller steps on in. That clear could have been into the wide open net, but instead, it's Sir Donk from the sidewall. In the final seconds, into Gan, well met by Pain Thriller. Adams, high lob, misplay. Should have this one, but instead it's a miss, just barely. Saved to the side. Gan sees it. They don't want to see this go to OT, but unfortunately, you're going to have to face your fears. Game number 1 is, we saw quite the thriller, and as we continue to tick on down in game 2, this one has to go to extra innings.
Absolutely here, and you love to see that pressure, but again, not able to connect as they've been keeping that pressure so well throughout this entire match, but you'd love to see them connect just one there. But now into OT here to see the setup, the pass, but no, the save from Adam. Adam's gonna keep it off to the corner there. Doesn't want to keep that offensive pressure here. Want to try and get on the other half.
Play doing well to be able to keep that 50 and then let all the teammates get the boost, then come back forward. This play actually gets slapped out of the way, and that's Gansey's all the way down, but unfortunately, Sir Donk got bumped into the accidental save.
Yes, and now is it open? No, Adam's there, but a little bit of a miss, but also the crossbar. Gand looking for the pass and the touch, but Thrill is there to meet him. Gonna pass it across, but now net open. Squirrel tap it in, but it's a little slow, but no! The slowness was perfect! Too fast on the save. The slow was almost just perfect here.
I just don't understand how Missouri Valley can do it, but they have done it. It's 1-1 in the series. They don't even tie things up, and even if it's sloppy, it works the same. That play started nearly with a triple commit out of the corner, but Panther really got the ultimate touch, and then an incredibly fast rise to beat out 2 defenders diving at it. And Missouri Valley, I mean, we might not applaud that shooting percentage, getting 13 shots for 2 on in, but it is more than enough today. Great response after game 1.
Absolutely, and we kind of talk about it a little bit. It's not always the 70-mile-per-hour goals that you need sometimes. Right there, the fact that that goal was just hit on the edge, just a little bit slower. The defender was just too quick. He wasn't expecting the ball to come off that slow from the attacker.
It's really a brutal thing. It's the reason why changeup still exists as a pitch in baseball after so many years, because you really have to, when you're getting back off that corner, you're going to dive across. You're just going to assume it's going to be a rocket straight ahead. And sometimes when it's just that awkward back post, you almost have to just put the controller down, roll your eyes and say, there's no way I would have predicted that one. It's certainly unfortunate, but you can't say you didn't see it coming if you're Central Methodist. They were more or less hugging that back wall for a lot of that series. They could barely get forward, and I think that's probably their biggest concern as they head into Game 3.
Absolutely. And I think, again, the backboard play wall here has been kind of a little bit of a factor, but again, we see those teams playing it pretty well, but it does seem to be the factor that leads up to the scores.
So as we load into game number 3, we've seen Missouri Valley have a brutal kind of cut and then get outplayed down the stretch in game 1. Game 2, it's Missouri Valley, it's the revenge tour, and now we'll have to see whether the pendulum is going to swing back the other way, or if Central Methodist is really going to continue even more obstacles in their path, as at least right now it looks like Adams trying to get to work, and doesn't seem like a GAN season could gather in time. So Pain Thriller, their first attack looking a lot more promising. I like the low dunk, but doesn't have the accuracy from the angle.
Yeah, rolls right across the line there. No teammate there able to put it in quite. But now GAN season doesn't quite get that touch there. Squirrel sends it over to the side. Sir Donk looking for the pinch there in the corner. Doesn't quite get it. Pain Thrower looking to carry it down again.
Pain Thrower from an angle, but we'll take a 50. Misplay, same as Pain Thrower is going to immediately turn on that one. I like that mentality, keeping things lively as Squirrel going to take their time trying to line it up on the near post. GAN backflip going to further deflect a already wide shot, but doesn't look like Missouri Valley, they're done yet. They just keep circling the water like a shark smelling blood in that water, but now they can't really get the final touch. Squirrel trying to provide it. Defense pixels away.
Absolutely, and this is a great pass here. Nice pass pinch by Pain Thrower there, and Squirrel puts it, good target right on net. Sir Donk, it was just right behind him, just a little awkward for him. Doesn't quite get the save, but yet again, great placement from Squirrel.
And it sounds like dumb analysis, and in a way it is, but I really appreciate teams that just make sure that these shots are on target. So many times players are trying to pick out the perfect shot every single time, as Squirrel gets up and they say, hey, as long as I hit this hard, it's going to have to be a at least somewhat decent save. And you saw the defense just a little bit misplaced on their positioning, couldn't quite get to it. And again, we're going to see Missouri Valley kind of asking a lot of the questions in this series. And right now, Central Methodist, we do not have the answers. Squirrel trying to keep things going, but maybe he has to take a little bit off that pass as misplay. Going to have to gather it all the way on the far side.
Absolutely, and didn't have quite enough boost there. Maybe could have done something with some boost, but low boost there for Missouri Valley's offense. But now, looking for the counter and just right threads the needle perfectly to Sir Donk.
You get see Squirrel AFK just for a second, because it's one of those plays where you're saying, well, that's the last thing I expected. They're creeping forward, and really that's a lesson sometimes on defense. You think everything's fine, you start to move forward, and then it kind of slowly dawns on you that, oh, wait a minute, that ball was not cleared. It was not necessarily a safe moment to do that, but the lesson hopefully you only need to learn once. Maybe they can avenge on that back post, as they were a little late to it, but 50 will at least keep things somewhat lively, as he'll be able to gather in his own half and start a new attack.
Absolutely, Squirrel looking for the carry and the flick over. Adam is there to meet it, though, to put it in his own corner. Let's see, is he able to carry it out a little bit? Yes, sends it across their Donk there to meet the ball, actually across the mid, back to him, off the wall, back down, but misplays there to connect.
A really good read by Adams Parkway. That's not easy to do. Same with that one. A flawless counter from GAN. He sees the open net, and he will not make any mistake.
Absolutely, and I think this opens with that touch from Adam in the top. Such a hard read. Even as a defender, you're not sure where the ball's going to go, and Adam puts it perfectly for his teammate there to score.
Yeah, it's one thing to get that read. It's another thing to actually read it so well that it deflects all the way back into really the midfield. I think that's part of the reason why the defense was so kind of shocked in that moment. They're moving forward thinking that's the perfect drop down pass for a goal, and instead they have to be mindful of their own goal. Gand, he's certainly mindful, but maybe not with that touch, a giveaway, and it's 2-2.
Absolutely, and I mean, you'd love to see the quick counter. Missouri Valley not seem to be too phased by that goal. It's a good thing to see for the morale of a team as well. Both teams here keeping up a good morale.
And again, didn't have the most boost on that one at 15 at the end of that aerial, but I think kind of overcooked it on that air roll. I think it was trying to channel that one to the corner, but leaned a bit too far back, hit that underside of the car, and weak clear is going to spell disaster. But again, that's what we're talking about, these margin of errors. Very few times has a team made a mistake on defense and hasn't been immediately punished. That's really what you expect out of these championship caliber squads.
Absolutely, and again, the turn on there from Gand. This is an amazing turn. Maybe wasn't expecting it. Maybe thought he was going back on defense here. Doesn't quite get it and misplays just right in front of the ball. Very unfortunate. Thought they were ready to go on the offensive attack. Gand had a different plan.
It's tough because these are not necessarily mistakes here, but misplays, and also being able to see Squirrel on the back end. They're moving up thinking that's a clear, but in a way they're almost in no man's land where there's not really any play to go for. They're too far away from the ball to challenge, but they're also too far out of goal to get any potential save. So they just have to watch helplessly as that ball kind of screams right by them, torching the grass and into the net. So with that third goal through, you'd have to think that should be enough for Central Methodist, but based on how back and forth the series is, I'll say I wouldn't be surprised if we have one or maybe even two more goals in the final 2 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. But the pass here to Sir Donk, but actually kind of saved by his teammate. Unfortunate there, just a little bump up, I think, again for the save. But now looking to carry it across again, all the way, no pinch for the teammate. Could have been a really good pinch.
Play off the side wall. Squirrel gonna dive on in on that one, but Adams Parkway, they're gonna come out of it. And not only that, they see the open net, bar down and in, a 2-goal cushion in the final 80 seconds.
Absolute floater here from Adam. Puts it right over Pain Thriller. Gets it right down, bar in. Good shot there from Adam.
They don't give the Supersonic Legend tags to anyone highest rank in the game, and it's for reasons like that. You see a little bit of a glimmer of a chance, and you're always going to make sure that tucks underneath the bar. We were complimenting their defense, now finally getting to show the offensive chops. Sir Donk would also like to show off in that regard, but he'll be asking a bit too much from that angle. He has no help either on the pass. He's just going to lightly touch that one to somewhat trip out Missouri Valley and see what they can do in the final minute for offense.
Absolutely here. Grand looking for maybe the touch. Doesn't quite get it. Pain Thriller trying to get on the board, but the 50 is won by Adam. Off into the corner up for Sir Donk, but it's in no man's land. It's just floating. Able to meet there is Gand Season.
This play, really nice angle. Problem is, from that approach, you're not going to get a lot of power on it. Squirrel trying to splunk in there, just try to get something going, but again, it looks like Central Methodist has a lot more of the answers we were talking about earlier. They are where every ball needs to be. They're touching everything on offense to keep things dangerous. They've been working in the back passes now to keep this possession. At this point, they know this game is won. They just have to watch that clock hit 0-0.
Absolutely. In Missouri Valley, while though they do need a goal here, Pain Thriller's been really well on defense. He's gotten a lot of saves both matches here, but now with the time running down and almost another shot on net, looking like this game will go to Central Methodist.
So indeed, it looks like things are turning back in their favor. Maybe one more for the road if Sir Donk has his way, and he will not, but not like they really need it. That's going to be another one in the win tally, 2-1 on the series, halfway to the grand final. And this is coming from our team that, coming into this, we already knew was capable of quite a lot. Second seed coming in. Didn't go too well for our first, but certainly showing that they are here to play. They're not going to be affected by the land jitters.
Absolutely here. And as we recall, St. Ambrose wants Central Methodist. They want them in the grand final. Seems to be a little bit of a rivalry going on there. So this story keeps going this way, we will have that in the grand finals.
I think it is also fair to give the flowers to Missouri Valley at the same time. That is a loss. It is 4-2, but if we rewind the tape and watch it back, a lot of those goals, I know they won back. I know that they think that they kind of got robbed there. And granted, it's through some mistakes, but if some bounces go a little bit differently, if some rotations kind of angle differently, it's a completely different game. This wasn't really a story of Central Methodist dominating them on the paint, dunking everything through, getting crazy passes. It was mostly them just being opportunistic, seeing the open nets and taking advantage. I think if we restart this game, maybe tweak a little things, very well could have been maybe even going the other way, but certainly you can't really change the past, only what your future holds. Missouri Valley not taking any timeouts. They're not too worried, so we're going to be loading right into this next game to see if they can tie up the series yet again.
Absolutely, and I love that we've seen the pressure from Missouri Valley. They've seen to really be good at that, but they're not able to quite put it on target like you said, so I'd really love to see that pressure turn into some more results for Missouri Valley here.
It can be tough to do that, especially when you only have that minute in between. And we mentioned no timeout. Every team has that one timeout thing used within this best of 7. And right now it seems like both teams keep it in their back pocket, but when they need it most, Adams He's trying to show up when they need him most, as again, halfway through that match point, but that first attempt on an attack is going to be a lob easily dealt with.
Absolutely here. Mr. Dunk trying to carry it through, but the touch is through for the save. Very good play there for Missouri Valley. Squirrel looking to carry it out, trying to get it out over one. It's a lob up. Sir Dunk is there for the save though.
Throw really like that pass misplay was a little late to it, but that's fine because it doesn't matter when the goal is wide open. The pass and then the lead demo to clear the path.
Absolutely. I think we have a double demo as well. Squirrel got the first one in through with misplay, leaving an absolute open net. You love to see that teamwork there from Missouri Valley. Very well coordinated.
Well, don't quote me on this, but I support cyberbullying in that fashion. Love it when you just kind of shove kids into the lockers and get them to where you need them to be, specifically in the scrap heap. So Missouri Valley showing that sometimes you don't need finesse if you just have some strength, and we'll have to see if that strategy is going to pay off in the long run because still got a lot of Rocket League left to play here in game number 4.
Absolutely, and maybe this is, even though there was a little bit of time, maybe they talked about maybe playing a little bit more aggressive, more bumps, more demos here from Missouri Valley. So we saw that right there in the play, so maybe they'll take that into the rest of this match in this series and see them a little more aggressive with that.
And Thriller in the midst of the play yet again, and Gansey's not going to be able to follow the same. Squirrel, quick follow through on the flick. Adams dealt with it for right now. Immediate turn by Pain Throw. I like that. Doesn't really have an angle, but make sure that Central Methodist, if you want to get it clear, you got to always be aware that Missouri Valley is more than willing to dive right back in on a play that looks dead.
Absolutely, and a good pinch there to send it over to Squirrel. Pinches it over the top. A little double commit there, but it's not going to be too punishing. This play is going to keep it on this side of the field.
One thing I'm definitely going to be looking for in the future, and I'm sure with Central Methodist, is the playmaking ability of Pain Throw. That's 2 times now within just the first 2 minutes of this game where I've seen him kind of dime a pass to his teammates. But speaking of dime, how about top corner from Squirrel?
Absolutely here, and you see the save, the placement, maybe again, not thinking it's going in, maybe not, doesn't quite get it. I mean, the bounce in, it's quite literally one of those awkward top left corner goals you're not sure, and it just goes in.
Again, it's always kind of those things that keep you on your toes as a defender, where you start to grip in the midfield, everything seems fine, and then one deflection goes through and a flawless hit into the top corner. Will spell doom. Misplay. Looking for another flawless touch, but going to give up on that one halfway through. That looked like a double, but instead it's left to Squirrel. The man is a sharpshooter. Look at the finish.
Absolutely, and yet again we see Squirrel put one on target just in the perfect spot. You see 2 defenders close left, and where does he put it? Far right. Perfect placement there for Squirrel.
It's got to be one of those awkward moments where you're just banging your head into the table thinking, okay, we have everything covered unless he hits it perfectly into the corner. How about this one, at least, Adams Parkway? Maybe not getting the most glamorous goal, but yeah, we'll certainly take anything at this point.
Absolutely, and that's well, it's a well-needed goal for them. Now putting it in distance of only 2 goals to tie it up here with 3 minutes remaining.
And I'll have to say that's kind of an awkward one to give up, but not necessarily anything that's going to kill your momentum or your vibe as you're able to kick off yet again, and still, honestly, just not even at halftime right now as we look at this one right. It was such an awkward thing to see when we see just all these goals flying through and you realize that we still have so much left to play.
Absolutely here, and the demo comes through, but doesn't seem to matter. Then the save comes through as well. I like to see the demos coming through, those getting a little bit more aggressive from both sides this match, it seems to be.
Yeah, a little bit, and sometimes you will be able to see some awkward moments with demos is that you set up the defense for seemingly failure and then they're still able to match the case. But the thing is, if you get demos, if you get boost deals, it doesn't really mean anything if you don't have those quick follow throughs. Not often is it going to take one player to build up a goal this play. You're going to have to prove me wrong, or in this one is that I left a little bit alone on defense, but quickly will be reinforced by her teammates and on target, but nothing that is really going to trouble Squirrel.
Yep, we've seen Squirrel, we've seen him on the offensive, but also on the defensive here. He's been very dominant this match, indeed, with the defense and the saves, but as soon as I say that, Gan has a different idea there with the read off his own opponent to score the goal here.
Yeah, Pain Thrower kind of in that situation where you really only have one escape. It's maybe take a 50 or maybe if you want to venture, try to get a flick, but oftentimes if you're going to try to throw it across, just outpace the offense, that they're going to be able to play for that outcome. Well done to position themselves for success. And now Central Methodist, it's all to play for, back within one, and now maybe an open shot. Adams showing he does not miss.
Absolutely, and it was a great pass up for the center field here. Pinch down Adams. Gets it in right over Pain Thrower. He was so close. But yet Adams able to put that on target. Like we said, you just got to put it on target.
And an instant demonstration from Squirrel showing why you don't want to throw it off that side wall without a plan, because sometimes it's just a pre-setup for your opponents. It might get even worse before it gets better. There from Missouri Valley, backward save by Pain Thrower to be able to keep this one level, but this is a heck of a comeback coming through from Central Methodist. It is not done yet. Doesn't matter if you hit all the goals, you still end up dropping another goal.
Absolutely, a counterattack here from Adam. Adam looking for maybe a double down, but no. Save comes through there as well. But trying to keep the offensive here. They want to keep Missouri Valley here at bay, but Pain Thrower has a different idea.
It's a hefty flick going well wide, but at least it will keep somewhat a semblance of possession. Squirrel going to drop that one to the far side. Pain Thrower, the half flip. Now Adams plays it past one, but that's an awkward deflection. Squirrel's quickly up, but Pain Thrower's in the way as well. Squirrel looking for a dish even. Pandemonium on the goal line. It's still there for misplay. What persistence from Missouri Valley.
This is what I talked about at the beginning of this, that pressure they have. We've seen it all series, and this time it really pays off. They really just keep the pressure, keep the bumps, keep them off the net, and it pays off this time.
And that's just gorgeous rotation from Missouri Valley. It looks a little sloppy, but ultimately they're not overstretching. They're not overcompensating for anything. They're just in the way when they need to be. Misplay, dunk of their life.
That was a really good dunk here and a really good read. See how he jumps early he thought Donk was gonna maybe pop it up early, so he was ready for both plays there. Really good play there from Misplay.
And I really do like that, because sometimes you just have to get in the way and take away options. It's almost like Donk was kind of thinking twice about whether they want to take it to the corner, let that one roll, and either way, you're going to have to make those decisions quick, and that's exactly what you prey on when you're creeping forward on offense, especially off kickoff. 2 for the price of 1 off kickoff. Donk, though, getting it back. How are we still seeing goals going through? 9th of the game to bring within 1.
Absolutely, and only 20 seconds remaining. Wow, there's plenty of time in the way this game is going. I mean, Central Methodist could tie it up here within a kickoff, but we could see, 3 more goals the way this game's going.
Yeah, we got to keep the fire department on speed dial, because this is very much a barn burner of a game. And this is exactly what we're looking for in a series like this. We said we wanted a bit more back and forth after the 4-1 showing from St. Ambrose, and might even be seeing an extension of this game if it looks like Central Methodist is not careful. That's Adams taking too much time. Squirrel has opened the door. It could be wide open for misplay. Double commit, but still into the midfield. Pain Thriller trying to go for Sir Donk, but that is not an option. He gets the first and the second, and the coast-to-coast carry is not needed, but that's all well and good. Missouri Valley closing it out for another win.
Absolutely love to see 2-1 now in the series. Still advantage to Central Methodist, but Missouri Valley starting to make that climb.
I really do love to see it from Missouri Valley, and I would say valiant effort by Central Methodist. 7 shots by Adams, 13 in total across the squad, but Missouri Valley showing that they have more than enough capability to get these saves, and I'll say really impressed by the offense of both squads, but ultimately in the shootout there can only be one winner.
Yeah, 8 saves out of Missouri Valley. They're the iron wall out there. That is 8 saves. It's pretty insane.
It's a tough strat, because obviously the less saves you have to make, the better off you are doing. But it is always nice and reassuring to know that if the offense is going to be knocking on the door, you might let it through a couple. But in a game like this, I think you don't really focus on defense as much as, okay, let's just try to outscore the other team. How about that? If everyone's letting in awkward goals, then we'll just try and do our best. And Missouri Valley, I used the word persistence before, and I think it really does describe their play style. A lot of these offenses, it's not really just first pass, first goal. It's really just trying to slowly batter down on Central Methodist and wait for that mistake, and they're doing a really good job of forcing those out.
Absolutely here. And going in, again, I just loved, we saw it once, Missouri Valley, they keep that pressure, and they did really well and turn that into a goal. I feel like they're able to keep that sort of speed and that sort of momentum going. They're gonna be looking real nice for this match.
Well, they have to hope, because after all, we still have a bit more to go in this series, at least 2 games as we enter into game number 5. See who's taking the lead, going on to match point. And if you're Central Methodist, you'd have to hope it's you, but you never know, especially with 50s like that. Another double commit, it's Adams. Who else getting that first save? How about a second back post from Reed? Needed after misplaced touch. Immediate follow through, and the dunk. How about that? It's Squirrel.
Absolutely, and this is what I just said. They're keeping that pressure. You feel like Central Methodist, they are getting the saves, but it's just shot after shot after shot, all on target. Eventually, one's going to go through.
And that's what I like, and that's what really a lot of offense is. It's not often just a clean pass in the midfield in a slot. Sometimes it really is just shooting over and over and getting a quick follow through. It doesn't have to look pretty because they all count the same. You just got to get something on the board. Squirrel trying the more passive route on that catch and really paid with it by losing possession, but instead it is misplay into the corner and with a boost steal.
Absolutely, and now off the corner down. Gand is there. This play's going to play it up, possibly a pass off the wall, but Adams there to meet. Off the ceiling, no pinch. Pain Thriller had other ideas.
Unfortunately, he had even more plans, but those don't come to fruition. On the counter, it's Gand with the slightest of redirects and maybe a bit of an overcommit coming in from Missouri Valley.
Yeah, and Sir Donk, it's a nice little touch-up carry for his teammate. And like you said, that little redirect was perfect. It was the perfect touch needed there to get on board here. First goal, but tied up 1-1.
Yeah, sometimes when a player gets a redirect that far upfield on a teammate's touch, it's almost like a goal steal. You're just trying to get the stat for yourself, but I think that's 100% necessary. And the defender did have most of that red, but then the last second deflection turns it into the unreadable territory. That one almost unreadable. Squirrel came out of nowhere. Flying Squirrel. I like it off the ceiling, but will be able to be dealt with by Central Methodist. And I'm curious to see whether or not we're going to see a little bit of a calming here. Both teams getting their first shots, and now in the mid-game we go, trying to see whether a new strategy has to come into the fold to get their team on top.
Absolutely. There, and the 50 comes across, but the save is through, and Gand is able to send it off to the corner. A little bit of a stressful moment there, but they are safe, turning into a counterattack. An amazing touch by Gand off just the top, but Adams there for the bounce and goal.
Really thought this one was covered. What happened here? Pain Thriller turning around, turns too far to the far side. It goes behind them, and a backflip can't save you there, bud. That's second there for Central Methodist. Adams rearing their head, as it seems like they always do for a goal.
Absolutely, and that was, we talked about the pressure from Missouri Valley, but I like the pressure they put on there from those passing plays from Central Methodist. Really well done, really thoughtful, really good plays out of them.
And slight touch, but immediately dunked away. Adams gonna have to recover to the far side as Squirrel will give some chase. Relent to Pain Thriller as they're the backup, now into the ceiling. Maybe even more into this tail up until he tears off. Is that for misplay? Squirrel. High lob, and it looks like no one on Missouri Valley wants even more of that one. You only have so much boost. As Central Methodist is starting to realize in this series that anytime any of these teams have a lead, really it's going to be pretty precarious right now. It seems like neither team is necessarily playing foolproof defense. It's more so just enough on most of these attacks.
Absolutely, and the touch over, no, not quite in. Top bar down for Sir Donk, and now Squirrel looking to lead the counterattack here as he does get demoed. Adams sends it off into the corner. Pinch comes through across the front, misplay, gets it into the bottom corner after the 50.
Like I said, quick follow-ups, make good offense. Pain Thriller with a pinch, and really not much of an angle to deal with. Gand was right on top of it, but they do not have the full-on clear misplay, the perfect angle at the right time. Dunked on down just past halftime, back to a level score. Really, it does just come down to whatever team is just playing a little bit cleaner at times. Adams trying for the cleanest of resets, but he's not going to find that one.
Absolutely. In the midfield is Sir Donk. Now Adam, a little awkward on the landing, but does get the pass up for his teammate, but no shot on net. Now Missouri Valley looking to get that pressure back that they had early on, and Squirrel slots it in.
What is going on here? Adams looking like everything is casual, take it to the corner, but then the bump into the pool pass coming through into Squirrel. And right now, if something falls in your lap, that's one thing. To finish it is a whole other.
I don't even know if that was a bump. He looked like an offensive lineman just driving the defender out of the goal. Very well played there.
It's always a nice thing to see, but that's also the danger of being shown really from Adams. An unfortunate demonstration. He takes your time. It's one thing, you can control something, but other times it can really get out of hand quickly if you get just attacked immediately and pounced on. Gand trying not to make the same mistake. He's going to wheel this one all the way back across. Pain Thriller, immediate follow through met by Adam. The ball's still not out. Squirrel, that's a deflection, just barely too high as Gand sends it to the wall to be met by Pain Thriller yet again.
And they're looking to do something coming off the ceiling. The pass down across to the corner. Adams here looking to make the defensive play, possibly into the counter. Gets it past 2 now. No boost on the wall. He's just going to have to float, but actually plays it off the wall perfectly. Now it's just awkward in front of the net, but no, not able to get the goal there.
I mean, almost doing a spit take on that last one. Is I thought that was just completely covered, literally all 3 players in the near post, yet somehow it almost creeped on in. Sometimes taking something for granted on defense. Either way, probably won't happen again. A little bit of double commit as misplays trying to get on out, but everything is rescued. The paint throw deflection, Squirrel up and over the top. There's nobody back for that one.
Absolutely, and let's see with the touch here. I think Squirrel gets a really good touch, just right off, just beating that defender, getting it in, floating it in. Good goal there out of Squirrel.
Well, not every aerial has to choose between speed and accuracy, but I think on that one, Gander will undo as they fly right by the sideline, and unfortunately, it's not only going to be hit toward goal, it's going to go into that goal. Pain Thriller trying to add even more pain onto the pile, but Display not able to follow through appropriately. Gand, deflection down. It was to Adams, but last-second deflection from the defense going to keep this 1 or 2 goal game.
Yeah, absolutely, and what could have been an amazing back pass there to set up the offensive push. They're still here on the offensive, looking for that pressure. They need to score pretty early. Pretty quickly here. 15 seconds remain on the clock, down by 2.
Another long clear, and that has to be really do it here for Central Valley coming into this game number 5. It looks like they're going to be taking a lead in this series, going on to match point against the higher-ranked Central Methodist. Are we going to have a day of upsets, I suppose? This hand hits the ground. We're only 5 minutes away from finding out.
Absolutely, and you love to see that. The climb back from Missouri Valley going down 0-2. The mental over there in their camp seem to not be affected. They have now climbed back to the series 2-2. Really looking in an advantage here for Missouri Valley.
Yeah, and I also like the appropriate username of a squirrel. Very ravenous creature, very opportunistic, kind of finding food around, bringing it back to the hive. And right now, honestly, every goal from Squirrel, really just something pops up real quick. They just kind of peek their hand out, grab it, and then go on their way. It's really just a hard-fought game from them, shooting 60% to lead their team to the victory. And I have to think Central Methodist right now feeling maybe a little bit shook here, as after all, they have 12 shots, and yet they still just can't quite do it here on offense. It's got to be something that gets into your head a little.
Yeah, and maybe no timeout through still. It's both teams feeling like, just maybe just little adjustments is all. Yeah.
So as we kind of go into this game, as you mentioned, the match point from Missouri Valley is one thing, but I think if we've learned anything from Central Methodist is that they're certainly a team that does not need any invitation on offense. In fact, they won one of their games, I would say, mostly just through loose balls. So I think if Missouri Valley keeps up this pressure and be able to kind of use their offense as their best defense, I think it's a valid strategy. We had that 1 minute underneath. Every player is back into the game. So we'll have to see, as you mentioned, Missouri Valley, can they close it out here, or are we going to see our first best of 7 go the distance to Game 7? I suppose it's all in Central Methodist's hands. 5 more minutes back on the clock.
Yes, I was incorrect with what I said. The score, it is 3-2 in the series in favor of Missouri Valley.
At the end of the day, we'll have to see whether or not we'll have to change that scoreline yet again in the favor of going 3-3, as this has been pretty deadlocked throughout this series. A lot of back and forth, not necessarily any gargantuan comeback game to game. It's really just been about who's a little bit hotter here, so we'll get a hint about who that is in our first goal. Adam certainly wants to use some more solo mechanics. His first air dribble going to be neatly turned away, and Pain Thriller send that one back into mid.
Absolutely here, and we see Adam try to send one on, but the demo comes through as well. Is there anyone else to follow up? Gand is going to attempt, but no, off into the corner.
For deflection, double commit though. Sir Donk might have had a better angle, but hard to really call off your teammate when they're already right in front of it. Pain Thriller trying to reach this one again, but Adams circumvents one player. How about a second? Squirrel is there for a third. Gand wrapping around the back wall. Pain Thriller quickly to it, and now everyone in Central Methodist, kind of the slow approach. I like that reassessment, although not too much success.
Yeah, and we see Sir Donk going over to the corner. Doesn't quite have that pinch for the pass. Adams, though, able to follow it up, trying to hit it down for a teammate. Possibly no, but it is met by Missouri Valley's defense. Again, Missouri Valley holding strong here on this defensive start.
They certainly have to. They're not getting a lot of break time to be able to get their boost and be able to kind of reallocate all the resources and their garrison of defenders. Right now, they're just trying to fight for their life, because even on that clear, it's right back at him. It's a bounce to Adams. You do not want him to have that backboard, which is why Squirrel is there. How about Donk? No one up for it, but none really needed. Off target and no clear as well means that it's like Central Methodist able to re-extend for yet another attack. Temporary opening, Sir Donk gathering the flick back across, but not on target.
Flick and demo come through there. It was so close, but yeah, Adam looking to do it again, possibly get a reset off that. Teammate went for the bump, but Pain Thrower able to dodge it and get through there. But now the counterattacks coming through from Missouri Valley. Off the wall, Pain Thrower here with a nice little touch, double command in the close corner, but they are able to get it out, and they're safe for now.
Adam really reaching for that one, and not really the touch you wanted, but that's fine. Still gets forward. Gand with the drop down off the bar. Fourth defender says no, but you can't deny Adams when it's just that open.
And this is amazing touch here to drop it down in, but doesn't quite get it. But that's why you have teammates. Adam comes through, follows it in perfectly. And I think this is the longest we've gone for the first score. 2 minutes and 38 seconds left in this game. Up 1-0 is Central Methodist.
Well, it looks like 10 is the lucky number, because that's how many it took from Central Methodist to finally break on through after that extended stay in offense earlier in the game. Maybe they can get another one real quick, but Squirrel looks like they're ready for it, and indeed they are. Misplay is to turn a quick 180 to be able to gather this one, and that problem is you take too long to clear it out. And here comes Sir Donk, and then Gand right after. He's going to get beaten out. Adams, that's a top shelf finish potentially, if not for Squirrel.
Absolutely, and now trying to see Missouri Valley go back on that pressure they had on offense. Let's see if they can build that here with hopefully a counterattack, but Central Methodist has other plans, really. And no, actually, the pass through for Pain Thriller, the 50 comes through for the Squirrel. Down to Sir Donk, misplay through on double across into the corner.
That's a terrifying moment there for Central Methodist. You could hear everyone kind of clench up on their controllers. Did not really ready for that one, but all works out. They're close enough to get a 50, and now Gand, be counting their lucky stars, can start up an offense up until that's a demo. Adams, he's spawning on the far post. He's not available to stop this beam from Pain Thriller from an angle to 1-1.
Absolutely, and this is a great angle. This is a difficult shot, and he puts it right on line and also right in front of Adam. Adam, which is perfectly slotted there from Pain Thriller.
Talk about taking your chances when they come up. Only their third one of the game from Missouri Valley, and yet Pain Thriller, a player that certainly the Twitch chat is going crazy over and showing exactly why in the clutch. Not necessarily in terms of time, but you do have a game on the line. You don't want to go to 7, and seems to be the man to step on up. Misplay now has to come up second, but one is not going to be on target, so no real threat yet. Pain Thriller stepping in, clearing it back out to Gand.
Yeah, absolutely, here. And we saw that sort of pressure they had there, but now seems like Central Methodist wanting to not have that happen and get it back to where they were at the beginning with all the pressure on the orange half.
Squirrel. That's an awkward touch and not often something you want to see because you have to cut across, but he makes the best of it as tripping up Adams. Now pass down to misplay, immediate follow through. As we mentioned, don't need too much of an invitation in Missouri Valley, but Gand is the same way. He's downfield. He almost sets up another pass, but that deflection not going to be able to find its target. A back pass, a little bit high, I would say, from Adams is going to be another giveaway, so maybe Squirrel and do something with this. A high lob will certainly cause some confusion, but nothing much to beat Adam.
Yeah, and Pain Thrower here looking to start that offensive push here to give them the lead with only 25 seconds remaining, but Sir Donk is going to clear it to the other side of the field and take an offensive position. Now he's going to choose to back up, misplay with the touch up to Pain Thrower over to the side. He's going to roll down. Donk's there to intercept over Squirrel. No, Squirrel's there still for the save.
Pain Thrower on the sidewall, now bouncing down to Squirrel. Pain Thrower is upfield. You got to keep in mind he's on that back post. Misplay might be knowing that. Final play, high flick, back post. It looks on target, but the fourth defender says no. That could have ended it all. That's a lifeline for Central Methodist as they're trying to stay involved. Maybe off the kickoff, not like this. Sir Donk taps at the side.
Absolutely, Sir Donk making two crucial saves there, both one to send him into OT and the start of OT. But now Central Methodist is going to need to get off their back foot, and they're going to need to put the pressure on. They're going to need to start taking some positioning here on the field.
Pain Thriller dunked down. Squirrel quickly leaps on it, and there comes the counter. Pain Thriller can't score this angle. Gand gets just enough of an angle on this one to deflect, and now the immediate clear. Pain Thriller right to Squirrel right onto his forehead. He can't really control that one, and Adams will leap on.
And I'm looking for maybe a double touch just floating there. Almost happened. Could have been a great pass, but the demo comes through. Squirrel with a nice little jumps up reset, but not able to get it down in. Oh, a lifeline being sent. But no, off to the corner edges. Pain Thriller with the goal for the win.
It is the day of upsets, but not if you ask the winning team's 4th seed. St. Ambrose taking down Park as #1, and now Central Methodist, try as they might, is just not enough to take on Missouri Valley. They are going to go on to that grand final. It took some doing, but boy, did it look pretty.
Yeah, and that shot right there at the end by Pain Thrower was literally perfect again. Slotted it in the bottom right corner. There was a defender on the bottom left, and he slotted it perfectly there to win for the team. Really good game, really high scoring, really offensive game as well.
Yeah, I mean, we had a game that we reached nearly double digits within, but then on this one, I mean, we're seeing a lot of shots. Central Methodist getting into double digits pretty much every single game. Missouri Valley not quite meeting that, but the pressure was always there. They were a looming threat, and got to feel good if you're Squirrel. That last second long clear in OT, they couldn't get the angle in time. They couldn't figure out how to put in that open net, and yet the persistence from Missouri Valley staying in rotation eventually leads to a wide open one for Pain Thriller, getting their second of the match, and most importantly, the win on the game to end the series. Excellently done by them, and they'll certainly be quite the opponent for St. Ambrose as we work our way slowly to the grand final.
Absolutely here, and I believe we will be having an interview here after this short break.
So back at the draw.
Hello and welcome back. We just finished up our second semifinal of the Heart of America Conference Championship Tournament LAN. We got one of the winners here, Misplay from Missouri Valley, taking the 4-2 victory over the second seed Central Methodist. Misplay, how you feeling after quite the contentious series?
You know, still shaking a bit. You know, it was very loud mid game. If I don't know if you guys could hear us or not, but like it was very loud. Energy was high throughout the game. Yeah, just feeling great. Looking forward to the final.
I mean, speaking of that final, I mean, this is a team in Ambrose, the 4th seed coming in. I mean, I know everyone in the league has to play each other. Do you have any apprehensions going into that squad? How do you feel like you match up against your grand final opponent?
Well, I mean, any team to win 4-1 in a semi-final has to be, you know, doing something special. And I think the seeds didn't matter coming into this LAN because it's in person, and being in person changes things. You know, it makes things not as it is when you're sitting at home and comfort in your own setup. So yeah, it's. I mean, you got to beat what's in front of you. So it didn't really matter to us if it was Park or St Ambrose. We just knew that we had to win both games.
Very nice. And then when it comes to preparation for you guys, did you guys have you guys really focused on like the VOD reviewing, or did you guys really study up on, because you knew you were facing Central Methodist first, so what was your guys' sort of game plan going in and knowing you were facing them?
Well, when we played Central Methodist in league play, um, we did a lot of VOD reviewing before that game and tried to study their play style, and then that didn't work for us. So coming into this, we just focused on ourselves, make sure we were playing the best Rocket League that we could, and if we do, we knew that that's all that mattered.
Yeah, and coming into this, I mean, obviously you get the win. It feels great. And you mentioned it's a little bit different on LAN. It's a little bit kind of
Yeah.
more awkward. Do you feel like that affected anything? I mean, obviously that series is really stressful because it's not just one team demolishing the other. It's really you guys trading games back
Yeah.
and forth. Did you
Yeah.
feel like you had to kind of calm the nerves at any point?
Yeah, it was a lot of just calming each other down between games, and then especially myself, I noticed that I like normally when we play at home, I'm not very loud. It's kind of timid and quiet, and we don't really celebrate much. But because we're here and we know that they're in the other room and can hear us, is trying to gain that mental edge as well by celebrating loudly.
Perfect. And then you guys, how long have you guys as a squad? Is this your guys' first LAN together, or have you guys been playing together for a while? Give us a little like backstory on your guys' entire team.
So Dom played last semester with the team. Payne, did you play last semester? No. So we're just new. We've just all been, you know, Dom dragged me in from the golf team to play with these guys, and it's just what's happened. Wasn't expecting to get this far. Happy that we are and ready to go win it.
Absolutely. And obviously you don't have much time to prepare, so I'll give you guys a little bit time to prepare with your team. But any shout outs you got to give on broadcast before we let you go?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, apart from you guys back at campus watching. I see your messages, and thank you for sending them in.
Absolutely. Twitch chat's lighting up for you guys, and hopefully they can continue to do so in the grand finals against St. Ambrose. Misplay, thanks for popping in, and we'll throw things to break. So everybody watching at home, we're back with a grand final. St. Ambrose, Missouri Valley, coming up after this.
All right, thank you.
holding on. I know I'm holding on to this, holding on. Don't let me repeat it. Don't let me repeat it. Fast forward a year or two, friends have changed, but so can you. So can you. For too long about the mistakes, while I resent, I learned to hate. Forgot your names. Fear the struggle to follow on. Need to focus to prove you're wrong. I'm not wrong. I know I'm holding on to this, holding on. I know I'm holding on to this, holding on. Don't let me repeat it. Don't let me repeat it. Leave me here, you were never good enough. Won't change a thing now, there was never trust. Don't you say a word, cause I've heard it all. You were just pain when you felt it all. Oh. Something tells me that I won't miss it. It's the first time that we can't fix it. It's irreversible damage done. The thrill is gone. Ooh, baby, I ain't no one like you. You chose to keep the truth inside. Ooh, baby, keep my all to you. All you did was tell me lies. Something tells me that I won't miss it. It's the first time that we can't fix it. It's irreversible. it's over. No turning back, not today. Won't you come running back now? I'm not a home for the shy. Something tells me that I won't miss it. It's the first time that we can't fix it. It's irreversible damage done. The thrill.
One more time, we're going to have to go around the ring and see who's going to be crowned the champion here for the Heart of America Conference Championship LAN tournament. We have seen a day of upsets. St. Ambrose taking down Park, the 4 seed over the 1, and then the 3 seed over the 2, with Missouri Valley taking it in 6. I'm still Dana Taco. That is still Rido. And this has been a wild ride today. I love to see it. This is exactly what I want out of a championship bracket.
Absolutely. And we've also seen 2 upsets technically in the ranks, but really the gameplay across the board from all teams really even here in this tournament. They've been really good games. The last series was an absolute shootout. I don't even know how many total goals there were, but it was an absolute shootout. So I'm wondering what we're going to see in this grand finals.
It's one of those games, a lot of those, especially in that second semifinal, where the games are so close that even though these players are seated and, just sitting by themselves playing the game, it was almost like you hear them hyperventilating because they're just like, I got to really make sure we lock this in, make sure we got to just reduce the sweat, keep the hands dry, and lock on through, because it's difficult to play in these environments. We even talked to Misplay on the interview saying that playing on LAN, it's completely different. They said they're getting louder because in their room, they're a little bit more timid. They're just talking to themselves. But being with your pal sitting right next to each other, I think it definitely brings out like another side to you, another level of energy. So I love to see that. I love the passion as well in the Twitch chat. I've been glancing over every once in a while and seeing they're pumped for these teams. Every team has like their own cheering section, really cheering them on.
Absolutely. And on that interview, you talked about it, that LAN environment. Missouri Valley they said they're not usually loud whenever they're playing, just online or whatever, but now they're in that LAN environment. They're with each other. They're getting loud, trying to get in their opponents' heads as well. So I wonder how that will affect St. Ambrose, because we already know Missouri Valley is going to be loud.
Yeah, and certainly when you do see the team getting really rowdy, that's another thing that people talk about within the LAN environment, is that you're here, obviously the crowd, you hear your teammates, you're right next to them, but also you hear the other team yelling and potentially yelling other stuff and get all hyped up, and I think it can kind of get you down. But regardless of all those other outside things, I think we have to focus really on the gameplay, because obviously this isn't the team's first. This was the 2 semifinals now into our grand final, still best of 7. So a lot of room to work with. Ambrose coming in probably the more scary of the teams, at least on paper. 4-1 over Park is no shabby effort there, but really everybody on St. Ambrose was locked on in. They looked all equally lethal on offense and equally as efficient on defense. So I think Missouri Valley has quite a lot to live up to. And I think based on Misplay's answers in that interview, I think they're not coming in really too timid. I think they definitely feel like they can take this.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the players we saw from the first series that was pretty dominant, especially in the midfield, was Shalankers. So I'm hoping that, this little kind of break they had, hopefully they still keep that like midfield momentum and really like start this game off hot. I hope they don't start off on their back foot.
Yeah, and the last time actually this team came up, we did see actually in week 5, St. Ambrose played off against Missouri Valley, and it was a sweep from Missouri Valley. So maybe just the matchups in their favor. But at the end of the day, we also know that sometimes that doesn't really mean much. This has been a day of upsets, as we've seen. Granted, you're kind of splitting hairs at a certain point when it's the top 4 seeds instead of 1 versus 16 like we see in the larger bracket. But regardless, I mean, these players, they're kind of chatting with each other, getting into lobbies, everything's getting prepped, and have a bit more of a buildup, because I think at this point, the biggest thing right now before the game starts is be able to kind of huddle up and just say, hey, this is why we're playing all season long. We got to drive to LAN, or maybe just walk down the road, as you mentioned, for some of these local schools and sit on down and play for this exact moment. Best of 7 to decide who's the champ.
Absolutely. And also in the initial interview we had with St. Ambrose, they also said that while their record doesn't quite show what they would want, 4-3, they have been VOD reviewing heavily. They've been practicing heavily, specifically on certain things that they knew they were weak at going into this event. So while, like we talked about, they are the 4th seat, but they've really been putting the work in off stream.
And as someone who spent their whole education in psychology, I mean, that's exactly what I like to see, that growth mindset from the players. And it's one of my biggest pet peeves with so many players within collegiate esports, or really just generally esports, is kind of coming in and just saying, well, we're good and maybe we can improve a little bit, but, we don't VOD review that much. We don't scrim that much. And it's like, no, these players are saying, hey, this is a championship. Of course, we're going to VOD review. Of course, we're going to strategize, see how these teams play. And obviously, I think it really showed that in St. Ambrose's game, they weren't just taking it to Park. They were making Park look not like a first seeded team. They looked really uncomfortable at times. And I think that preparation really pays off. Granted, not sure how much their prep they're doing against Missouri Valley. Certainly they want to get revenge, but the way they're playing, I think anything can happen. I think right now, I keep referencing the regular season almost seems so archaic at this point, because maybe those results really just don't matter. We're in a completely different mindset, I feel like, for a lot of these squads. So as they will slowly be trying to get into the lobby, we'll have to see really who's just hotter on the day, who's feeling that bit more confident.
Yeah, and I think like we saw, Missouri Valley they were really high, fast paced, a lot of pressure, and I feel like that was also what Park's maybe game plan was in that first game, and St. Ambrose shut that down pretty definitively. So I'm just wondering if we're going to see that same result here, if St. Ambrose is able to handle this pressure Missouri Valley's about to put on, or if it's going to be more pressure than they'll be expecting.
And in the Heart of America Conference Championship here, obviously, can really only have one winner. But honestly, it's so brutal to also have this single elim bracket as well, because we do see an early call to a really early end to the action for Park and Central Methodist. And I know they want that one back, but this is also why some people might say, I like the table system, like in some sport leagues around the world. It's just the team at the top is always the best. But if we had ended that one, then we would have seen the favorites obviously come out on top. They're coming in right at the end. But this is why I feel like in esports and traditional sports, we can't let go of the bracket because of moments like this. The technical upsets, the lowest seeded teams actually making it to the final, really proven everyone wrong. So I think with the storyline set now at this point, I think we can't really touch on things in the same way. We can't really say upsets, because these two teams have shown that if you put them on a certain day, they can all be first seeds within this league. And I think with St. Ambrose, we came out really hot, but maybe the temptation now is to root with Missouri Valley. They are playing back-to-back series. St. Ambrose, they've just been twiddling their thumbs for the past 45 minutes. I do wonder what kind of cool-down effect that might be having on them.
Yeah, absolutely. And just in any land, and not even only on land, but in online as well, when you're just sitting and you're just kind of waiting and you're just like, oh, you're watching your opponents win. And then Missouri Valley coming off, they're riding the high right now. I mean, they are literally coming off a very good win, a very aggressive win, and St. Ambrose just had to sit back and kind of wait and watch. So hopefully St. Ambrose start off strong. I would love to see them sort of come straight out the gate, maybe like a little kickoff, maybe not kickoff goal, but just being aggressive off that kickoff.
I would say the two players that I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the most and seeing if they're continuing in that role. Pain Thriller on Missouri Valley looked like they were constantly involved. They were playing the playmaker. And I think the same thing with Shalonker, probably my favorite username I've heard in esports in quite some time. Fantastic name to cast, and also to be able to witness fly through the air across the screen. I think both those players kind of are the ones that kind of set the tempo. And I don't know necessarily about an IGL, but it seems like they are kind of being shot callers and really starting up and finishing a lot of these different plays. So I think if those players are hot, then certainly the team is going to have no problem just feeding them the ball as quickly as possible and as often as they can.
Yeah, perfect. And then probably for the other side, the Missouri Valley side, a team that just coming off the win, like we said, but a player we talked about, Squirrel. Somebody even call him the Flying Squirrel. He's been everywhere, and he's been super accurate with his shots. We've seen it. He puts it in the right place at the right time. So I'm really expected to see some nice plays out of him to keep up that accuracy on those shots going into the series as well.
And once we get into the series, that's kind of the optimal moment, because right now we do have tech issues. This is technology-based esport anyway. Virtual athletes sometimes have to get a little bit of a hamstring, at least in their PC. So we're going to throw to a brief break, but on the other side of it, hopefully we will have the Heart of America Conference Championship Grand Final between Missouri Valley and St. Ambrose. Don't go anywhere. Flamethrower, don't do this. Get out of the lobby. Ugh. Well, welcome back in, everybody. We do, in fact, have the players in the lobby for the grand final after this break. I promised you, after all. So, Heart of America Conference Championship Tournament going to come down to this next best of 7 here. We do indeed have Missouri Valley and Ambrose going on at it. And honestly, as we talk about Rido, this is a day of unexpected results. I genuinely have no idea how this one is going to be shaping up, nearly with a goal maybe from Flamethrower, but turned to the side.
Absolutely here. And we talked about sort of like who we see as our sort of like, not necessarily MVPs of the teams, but people we're looking forward to playing and seeing how they develop in here, as Shalonker's actually taking that all the way across the field past two. The misplay is going to take it over to Sky.
And Schlonkers is going to come back for more with a temporary touch, but now with an open dribble potentially. Nice little time flick over the defender for the first.
And there it is, the man of the hour, the one we were talking about here, Shalonker's. Nice little touch off the wall, but again, this nice flick over to go into the goal.
Yeah, that's beautifully done. And that's really just the hardest part about a flick. Sometimes when the ball is on top of your car, depending on your camera settings, you have no idea how close the defender is if they're diving in. And like I said, that flawless time flick is going to be able to strike true for the squad of St. Ambrose. And this is the team that made a short work of their opponents in Park in that semifinal. And now it seems like they're going to continue to extend it. I said this man is hungry. He's eaten here, Shalongers, for a second.
Absolutely. And we were worried maybe St. Ambrose would maybe start on their back foot. They've just been kind of, sitting in comparison to Missouri Valley, who's just coming off a game. But we were incorrect. About 58 seconds in, and they're already up 2-0.
Sometimes in game one of series, kind of a feeler game, does not seem to be that case for St. Ambrose. They came in, guns ablazing, and they're getting everything. Paintthrill trying to show they're no slouch either. That almost for redirect from an angle. We've seen him hit it before, just not that iteration.
Absolutely here, and we want to see that pressure that Missouri Valley was really good on last series. So see if they can kind of get into that flow. Maybe there's different play styles, different team, different play styles. So maybe they're just trying to get settled in. But right there, just from the top corner. Misplay, not able to get that goal.
And it's a rough one from Misplay. As it looked like they had the angle, but the problem is when you're reaching all the way across the goal to try to reach that one, you're kind of lacking on the power. You can't really direct it the way you want to, so don't really blame that miss. Sometimes that's just nature of the game. Kind of the same with some misses. Flamethrower, not good on this one, which means maybe a redemption area for Misplay. Try to combine with Squirrel, but not into the top corner.
Squirrel went for the double touch there. Potential, but not quite. Now, see if the pass across, no. Missouri Valley here looking to get on the board but the save comes through for Shalonkers. Trying to possibly turn this into a counterattack now. Flamethrower up through the middle. It's through, but off target, looking for a pass off the top of the backboard, but no road trade there. Squirrel sends it back across.
Schlager's going all the way back. They're not going to be really stressed about following that up quickly. They know the 2-goal lead is something more to protect and rather something you need to build on. But it's not going to stop them from still aggressing from time to time. That corner read only going to fall into the bumper of misplays, but not too far out. That's what Squirrel's for. Pass downfield, Painkillers. That's a laser onto the near post, not necessarily in between those posts as tackle continue, but with a lot of resistance from St. Ambrose.
And we have a 50 here, but no, Shalong's actually going to beat him to it. Flamethrower actually gets the pass, catches it on top of his car, and flicks it in for the goal. Going up 3-0 here.
100% goal participation from Schlonkers. This time the pass downfield, immediate counterattack. You got to say, the lethality of St. Ambrose is something to be talking about. 75% of their shots are going on in, only 4, and yet 3 to the good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we talked about him. Shalonker's really living up to the pre-game hype, that's for sure, in this game number 1 here. Would love to see Squirrel sort of come online here, possibly as, maybe as they get on target here.
And Misplay also finding some difficulties there. Hard angle again on the clear. It's not going to work. That's why Squirrel will flick it themselves. Paintthrill off the sidewall. Going to keep it somewhat close. Trying to get a 50, maybe catching up to it, but Schlonkers be in a much better angle to be able to do something with that. Maybe not the same with Squirrel, though. Awkward double, and it seems like right now Missouri Valley just trying to find some consistent movement forward. Maybe it's Paintthrill from an angle. That's not going to go in. Same with Misplay, just a bit wide.
Guy looking to take it down the field. Actually passes over to Squirrel. Now the advantage over to Missouri Valley, but a nice 50 from Flamethrower. Able to keep him at bay. Wait, he's one over Squirrel. Not quite. The save comes through from Sky.
Really like the inventiveness there from Pain Thriller, being able to stay there, and it looks like they're just wasting their time, but then the backflip beats out that first defender. For the second, very well could have been 1 goal back, but final minute, it's really going to have to be much better, much more effective shooting from the side of Missouri Valley. Pain Thriller trying to start it off. It was Squirrel upfield, but no bump. Hires misplay, met by Shalonkers, just making all the right touches is that man.
Absolutely, and a little misplay on the wall there, but it's not going to be too much of a punish. Shalonkers will pick it up. Little 50 for Squirrel to send it up. Pass down to misplay. Misplay. It's a little off to the side, and oh, it's in. Was that? I'm not quite sure. Was that an own goal? Was that going out?
I think that might have been a post. I have no idea whether or not it's in or not. I'm trying to look from this angle, and honestly, might have been going in either way. So Sky's trying a desperate last-second touch, and I gotta say, even though that is a goal, and even though the team of Missouri Valley is out shooting their opponents, they are not outscoring, and that is the biggest issue right now, especially when 25 seconds remaining. You really only have maybe 1 or 2 more looks at the goal.
Absolutely, and narrowing down to that 20-second mark, they need to at least one to get on. Oh, what a redirect by Squirrel.
Way harder than it looks. The doink off the top and being able to keep that one under the bar. Lightning quick. The instant counterattack from coast to coast means it's a 1-goal game. This kickoff might mean everything.
Beautiful. That is what we wanted to see out of Squirrel, and he started to show up, started to wake up. Now he's got the ball himself. Flick over one, going up for another one, but no, met by Shalonkers.
This play, the cut on in. There's no contact. Shalonkers to be able to deliver this one all the way down. I don't blame the slow play as Flamethrower will let this one drop. A little bit scary at the end, but St. Ambrose taking care of business, taking game 1 of our grand final.
Absolutely, Heron. The things we talked about early on, the worries of maybe St. Ambrose starting off slow did not come to fruition. But meanwhile, Missouri Valley started to come back there towards the end of that one and really bring that pace that we saw against Central Methodist. So I'm interested to see how this game number 2 is going to go.
Especially with St. Ambrose, I mean, they're really dealing with a lot of pressure. You had highlighted Squirrel actually as another player on Missouri Valley. I think Pain Thriller has been kind of the avenue through which a lot of Missouri Valley's offense has been started, but Squirrel certainly no slouch in that regard. Great doink and almost even the open flick to be able to open the even further pain on St. Ambrose as they had a hot start and then really kind of almost a crash and burn ending on that one. But I think that strength kind of and resilience shows that they are in this grand final for a reason. They were able to take down that first seed. And I got to say that Missouri Valley, they are certainly showing they will be an even match for them if game 2 is anything like game 1.
Absolutely, Heron. Let's see. Let's put it though. We got only 1 save from the entire Missouri Valley side, but the 1-to-1 goals, a lot of shots through as well. So you have to nothing too crazy for the stat lines there. Nothing too crazy stat wise.
And that's one of the bigger difficulties is that it's all goals that are not really having that immediate contest. If you don't have enough saves, but if you only have 1 save, some people might say, well, you're playing good defense, but then when you let in 3 goals on 4 shots, then it's a little bit tough. To their credit, Missouri Valley, if you started that game at halftime, I think we're seeing a very different tale of the tape. They were able to really take control on the back half, just start to dominate bit by bit. So if we can kind of work our way into our game number 2, then we'll see something going real well. Right now, it seems as though someone's controller is not quite connecting, so I'm going to take a brief little pause just to make sure everybody is locked on through. That's why I got to sometimes bring those extra USB-C cables because sometimes things are locked up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, always got to be prepared. Online, usually at the comfort of your home, it's like, yo, I got like 3 extra cables, but if you're not prepared on LAN, then things like these can come awry. The last thing you want to do is play with someone else's controller.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the breaking in a controller is one of the most nightmarish things I feel like you have to do as a controller player. But that's actually one thing I always kind of envy about KBM players is that you just bring your keyboard. Like, I don't even know the last time I've actually broken a keyboard to the point where it doesn't work anymore. You really just, unless you're just dropping it. But either way, yeah, you got to be prepared. I mean, sometimes we see these program directors in the collegiate scene go a little extra mile. I know Mark's probably rushing to get them something that works for them, but the way I've seen a college director even come to a LAN tournament with apparently a 30-pack of USB-C controller cables, literally just a bulk purchase off of online retailers, just saying, hey, now they have literally no excuse if their controller cable goes out because I got just a package of them just in case.
He is the dealer at the LAN for the LAN cables. If you need one, he has got it. 30. He is ready. I mean, he's ready to support his own land with 30 cables.
And sometimes that's exactly what you need. At the end of the day, hopefully the controller is broken here, as we did talk to Sky a little bit taken aback, because they do have to make sure they get the new controller logged in, or at the very least, just make sure their cable is all fixed. So they are still in the lobby. They're still trying to figure things out. So hopefully we'll be able to start sooner rather than later. But at the very least, I mean, this is just another kind of an awkward moment. Hopefully it doesn't impact the nerves too much. You mentioned playing with a new controller, but knowing that if your cable might give out, that's another bit of anxiety you do not want in the back of your head in a grand final.
Absolutely. But seem to all be loaded in here. Seem to have kickoff here in just a second. Seems to have that controller, or maybe new controller, all ready to rock and roll.
And so we will have game number 2 to be able to load into. So a narrow win coming in from what some may have thought is the favorites in St. Ambrose, but let's see if this 5 minutes holds anything else. Really another twist in the tail of this really ridiculously back and forth kind of Heart Esports Conference Championship. So as we mentioned, we don't know how it ends, but certainly I would love to see how game 2 pans out, especially when Pain Thriller rising up quickly.
Absolutely, and you said it. You highlighted his name earlier, and he's getting online early in this second game with that goal. A nice one, a nice down shot.
But again, I mean, a little bit of a double commit, so something that maybe comes with a little kind of a dark cloud on that goal, something to avoid, especially if that goal does not go on through. But fortunately for the side of Missouri Valley, they don't have to worry about that iteration. Maybe Squirrel trying to get in on the action, dishing a pass off the backboard. Pain Thrower doing the same. Misplay will think about it, but ultimately take the kind of awkward 50 on the sidewall to keep the attack going. Up to the wave dash. That's a really awkward one for Sky. I do not blame the miss on that.
Yeah, awkward moment, and it ends up leading to almost just a good pass, and Sky's just awkward right there, leaving it open for Squirrel to put that goal in. Go up 2-0 here.
That's why those recovery mechanics are so important. Misplay on the wall, gets a kind of a weird touch, and then immediately just wave dashes that one into the flick, and the defense cannot react to it. 1 touch to undo 2. Squirrel trying to add on to the pain, but it's like not every shot is going to go on through.
Yeah, look, Shalonkers really went for a good ground pinch there, but Squirrel just beat him to it just a little bit there. Almost resulted in a goal, but the defense holds strong.
Wow, Squirrel, that's a beefy dunk right there. Painkiller is actually on it, so how about third time the charm? Potentially misplay. That's not going to be through. Squirrel's from an angle. Not the easiest finish, but Missouri Valley, what were they talking about between games?
Absolutely, and this is the pressure that I wanted to see out of them that they did. You really saw them start after they went down in that series before they started bringing that pressure and resulting that into scores, and they're doing that right now to perfection.
This is where things get a bit spooky there. St. Ambrose, hot start, and then it's kind of flamed out. It seems like the momentum on Missouri Valley's side going into game 2, despite the little break we had to take in between. Again, this is the team, Missouri Valley, that beat the St. Ambrose squad 3-0 in the best-of-5 regular season. I don't necessarily want to bring up the history too much, but maybe that has to be weighing in the back of the mind of St. Ambrose in games like this.
It's possible here, and Flamethrower's going to tip it off over to his teammate, Shalongs. Put it down mid, but Misplay is going to send it back to him, but the pass is up, the touch is through, so no drop-down goal here today.
Flamethrower kind of rushing this play before he really needs to. However, Flamethrower, the Pixeler 2 was in a different position. That might have been a goal to be able to get them back somewhat in this game. Painkiller into Squirrel, like the little possession touch in the corner, but that might open up the counterattack. Schlonkers trying to set up the hook shot, but takes too long. Misplay, calls the bluff. Nice save.
Nice play, and it's back across. Almost a pass, but Schlonkers had to go get the boost. No boost, needed it to try and make that play. Now they're boosted up here on this offensive play. Sky's going to turn on this. What's he going to do? Is he going to keep it here, go for the pass? Pass down in the middle, but no one to be found. Playing a little bit further back, and good thing they did because the save comes through there for Schlonkers.
Really like that from Misplays. Don't usually want to compliment the clear down the field, but you noticed all the players on the defense for St. Ambrose were creeped up, and that just kept them a bit more honest. And certainly you're seeing that from St. Ambrose. Only 2 shots in total from the squad. Right now, they're just fighting for their life in the midfield just to get forward. These clears continuously going to nobody with the other team. Schlonker is even trying to change it, but Pain Throw, they're just that much faster again.
And Misplay here is going to catch it in the midfield. But Schalonker's able to pass a little double touch. Awkward moment right over Misplays, and that is going to be the one they need to start this climb back up here. 1-3 now.
That's why ball chasing can be really nice. Schlonkers hits to the sidewall, immediately pivots on that back wheel to pop it forward, and you can see the near post defender trying to shadow things, just trying to keep things under control, but suddenly they realize very quickly it is not in their control anymore, and quick follow through. Elise makes Flamethrower temporary hero now. See if they can build on it in the final two.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see them build off the momentum of that goal here and possibly get another one on the board quick here, and then bring it into then have to work on bringing it into that tied game.
Feeling kind of a sinking suspicion this might be a mirror image of the last game, where we just see one team kind of scream out in front and then slowly get chipped away by their opponents throughout the rest of it. But we need at least a second goal to be able to fulfill that storyline. Schlonkers looking to provide it, but not getting that pass. Luckily, Flamethrower is there, but who's there to stop Squirrel? Hard cut, near post, no pass middles. Flamethrower is still going to go for it, and with a misplay bump in the backfield, here could come the counter.
Yes, Skylove's going to take it. Oh, doesn't quite get it with his car. Unfortunate there. Now going to have to rotate back on the defense, but Schlonkers able to pass it over. Pain Thriller, and might be go over. Misplay here, but no, Misplay is able to catch it in time before Sky can carry it to his corner.
Squirrel going to be met. And now Sky, the pass down. I love it into Schlonkers. He's going to want that one back. Not going to trouble Pain Thrillers. Boomer of a clear all the way to the back corner. And then an immediate follow. Misplay got every pixel of that shot.
Amazing play here. This play, not missing this play. Ooh, right over the top. Almost gets the save there, but not quite.
And really just that it's got to be a hurt. Really, I would say a hit to the pride, if anything, from St. Ambrose, as they had the shot. Schlonkers, it looks like the man of the hour is here, and then just doesn't get the quite of the power. And then on the immediate clear, goes right into their net. At the end of the day, not want to call games early, but this is looking like a little done and dusted from St. Ambrose. They were just not ready for the ferocity of Missouri Valley. But of course, as I say that, hold the phone. What is the whiff in the backfield?
A little caster curse going on down there for the whiff here, but I still have a comfortable lead. They still have a comfortable lead here for 32 seconds remaining on the clock. As long as there's not a kickoff goal here, they should be good. But at the same time, you're St. Ambrose, you're looking for that kickoff goal.
Maybe we can both get a caster curse in here. It doesn't want it to happen, but that was open for Flamethrower. A little bit too wide there. Will just delicately land into the corner for Schlonkers to take their effort. Infield pass, Flamethrower. They were on not only different pages, they were on different books.
Yeah, and Flamethrower still trying to keep it alive, though. 10 seconds remaining here, but it's looking pretty confident here for Missouri Valley.
Some classy passing right there from Flamethrower. And what do you know, Rhino? It's a one-goal game with 4 ticks to go.
Yeah, well, the caster curse comes through twice. 3-4 now, 4 seconds remaining. And now the glimmer in the eye is looking more doable.
It's a little tough. It's a gift and a curse. You drop in Venmos in the chat just to be able to say if anyone wants to maybe reinforce their team's chances. But if you're Missouri Valley, you don't need any more luck. It is a little bit similar to game one. Only difference is this time they're taking a dub.
Absolutely there. And I think a little bit of the storyline there that we saw a lot of pressure early on, especially in that first minute, 2 minutes out of Missouri Valley. I mean, I felt like it was just all Missouri Valley. They had all the boosts, they had all the plays, they had the touches, the 50s. They were very dominant. But again, St. Ambrose started to make that climb back towards the end. So maybe this third game here, we find a nice little balance. There might be a little balance here in this one.
You'd have to think so, especially with most teams or most situations in Rocket League. The in-game comebacks do happen, but I would say they're usually pretty rare. Usually one team kind of gets a strategy that kind of works for them. And in runaway games, you don't often see teams climb back. So the fact that I do see that means that I feel like maybe it's a little bit nerves. Maybe it's just a little bit kind of mismanagement of the pace. But either way, I do like what I'm seeing right now, and the one thing that I have seen kind of continued on from the semifinal from Missouri Valley specifically, those half rotations. They are not afraid to hit the ball, grab some boost, and then immediately whip back around. There's like very few times on offense where they feel like when they're in their control that they are rotating all the way back. They want to make sure that St. Ambrose has a real difficult time of getting out of their half.
Yeah, and something we saw in game number 1 against Park with St. Ambrose mid-play. They were able to control the midfield really well, but like you just said, Missouri Valley's really turning on a dime here and just taking over that mid-play. So interesting to see how this one goes.
Well, now we're into the effective best of 5 to determine the winner here. And we'll have to see really how this one is going to shake out. As a reminder, yet again, last time this best of 5 actually came on through, it was Missouri Valley in a sweep. So we're going to see a second 4-1 on the day, or is there going to be something else cooking for St. Ambrose? Shalonkers trying to start up a early attack, but looks like they're just going to have to settle for 50 and really not much else.
Squirrel looking at nice little touch there. No misplay from Shalonkers in mid, but no goal there for Missouri Valley. But they're still keeping that offensive pressure, and there it goes through for Squirrel. A great pass down from the ceiling.
Love this from Misplay off the ceiling and then gets the double-double off of the backboard, and it's just a bit farther inside. Without that deflection from Misplay, I don't think it would beat out the defender. Again, immediate follow-through means within the opening 30 seconds, you have Missouri Valley continuing on this streak of goals.
Absolutely, and that's something you like to see is towards the end of the last series, you know, you were maybe getting a little worried if you're a Missouri Valley fan. It's like, oh, they're starting to climb back. Maybe they lost momentum, but seems to not be the case here in game number 3.
Panther gets a perfect boost spawn. Problem is not much able to do anything with it as that deflection comes on through. Flamethrower well over the bar. Misplay. Taking time. Now with a lead blocker. Panther gets 1, but here comes Squirrel as the third air dribble. They're kind of get a flip reset. Oh, the fake even! It's dastardly. It's unstoppable for 2.
I mean, with the reason I highlighted him. Look at this. I like how he brings it down. Sky's not really expecting that. Flamethrower thought his teammate may have had that upward play, but he brings it down for the perfect goal.
And it's just so hard to predict there. And that's why Rocket League is such an interesting game, is that even when you go for what looked like a flip reset from Squirrel, if it doesn't work out, you still have to shut down the play, because sometimes even missing those could turn into the perfect fake play that completely destroys the defense. Pass in field. Speaking of destroying, it's Flamethrower slicing through with a pass.
It's an amazing pass here as well to the teammate. Again, you see Squirrel, he's just not an awkward situation. Perfect placement though. Perfect placement for Flamethrower to put that in.
Really one of the most irritating things for a defender. You're on the goal line, you know you can stop any shot, and then suddenly the ball is just lingering in front of your nose, but it's just far enough to the side of your car. You can't really reach it in time. Flamethrower crosses him back up, and you have one more goal to the good for St. Ambrose. Maybe it might not last, though, in that margin on the score line, if not for that save, as St. Ambrose yet again cutting it close.
Absolutely. Looking to get it out here. A little double commit there, but Flamethrower is able to keep it out, and a nice little 50 there from Shalonkers. He doesn't quite get the bump he was looking for, but now through Panther, really, not clutch enough, because Flamethrower comes back and launches it on net.
That's an AFK squirrel yet again as they're rotating to the middle. He turned right there on that play and realizes halfway through probably that I am not getting on that one. Just a little bit too far away. A second goal for Flamethrower on their 3rd shot of the game, and tying us back on up here. A very exciting opening 2nd minute. And I think your prediction's coming true, Ryder, that this is more of the back and forth play we were missing.
Yeah, which, you know, as a viewer, you're kind of happy to see, but, you know, as a fan of one of the teams, you'd love to see them dominate, but we're having a really good game here, number 3.
Flamethrower trying to keep their success going. One more touch could do it, and indeed it does. There's the Hattie for the lead.
Absolutely there, and we're seeing a little bit more almost flashy plays out of the boys right now. I mean, maybe they're just getting a little more warmed up. I mean, that was a great carry there from Flamethrower as well.
I mean, if Flamethrower is feeling hot, I mean, it's only natural that you're going to want to play the solo plays. Everything's working out for them. Everything they touch is more or less is turning to gold. So why not just keep everything close to you, especially if the defense isn't dealing with it. Missouri Valley, they got to find a way to plug this offense. Otherwise, this is just not going to be working out well. Sky nearly 50s the entire team on that last one.
Yeah, and Flamethrower, I mean, it's in the name. He's been pretty hot. There's already 3 goals. Looking to put more on the board here. There's one up for Sky. Sky's going to carry it over into the corner. Squirrel, though, looking to possibly get by one. No Flamethrower, but no pain. Has the save. But it's now down through from Sherlock, but no misplay again with the save. The iron wall showing out here for Missouri Valley.
It's definitely needed, as it doesn't look like St. Ambrose is hitting anything too weakly. They're slapping everything as hard as possible. It was 6 shots, but pretty much every single one of them has required quite the defensive effort from their opponents. Squirrel, infield pass, misplay too far away. Schlonkers just do with that in the initial touch. Flamethrower will get the second one right down the middle.
And I think what St. Ambrose really needs to not only just carry away with this win here is maybe, you know, someone we talked about, Shalonkers, it's been all flamethrower this game. Maybe see him, maybe take him a little more dominant role here, possibly.
Schlonkers kind of patient on that one, a little bit late. I don't always like players that play reactionarily, but sometimes it really does work out. Speaking of, immediate counter for Schlonkers.
And I mean, usually it's a caster curse, but that was a caster blessing. Schlonkers gets on the board here and gives him up that 2-goal advantage with only 1:30 remaining.
And really nice 50 as well to be able to set that one into the path, but sometimes it just doesn't really work on out. Missouri Valley slowly losing the grip here. They were within one. Now they have to double their efforts here. Painthriller can't even start it off there because Schlonkers is there. However, that clear is not where they wanted it to be. Squirrel might want that one back as Misplay is going to only be able to keep it in the corner past mid, but there's no Painthriller to be able to satisfy that.
Yeah, and if you're Missouri Valley, you're really looking to score that one there. That would put you with only 1 goal away with approaching that minute mark now. But Schlonkers looking to carry this all the way across the field by himself, and now no, not quite the bounce for the pass. Keeps it in the corner.
Play able to get the first touch. Squirrel able to get the second as they drag the one all the way through the corner. Slow roller, Schlonkers tap corner, and it gets an awkward clear that no one was anticipating. They're just going to stay in front of it again for Squirrel, as they will be able to circumnavigate their way into some form of an air dribble, but without that much boost. It's just another giveaway there. And right now, Missouri Valley, I feel like they're digging so deep for some touches, but just nothing is coming to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, and playing really aggressive. I would like to see them possibly play aggressive now. In these last 30 seconds, they need to get on the board here very quickly.
And it looked like they might have been able to set that one up, but bounce off the wall does not lead to an air dribble or any semblance of control. So now Squirrel has to try to wrangle this one by landing it onto Painthriller's front bumper. Quick flick over onto the near post. Not going to be threatening that goal in the end. Squirrel looking for another touch, not going to find it. Misplay was waiting for it, and they're going to have to keep on waiting until next game to try to get some goals on the board. Missouri Valley, it will fall, and St. Ambrose is going to be taking the lead in this grand final 2-1.
Absolutely, and I mean, I think we did see a little bit more back and forth gameplay from that one compared to what we saw in the first 2 matches. So I'm really glad that we got to see that.
Yeah, I do like how St. Ambrose really seemed like they were trying to play a bit more, I would say, on point with a lot of their attacks, trying to make sure that they're waiting for the right moment. I saw a lot more patient buildup. I saw a lot more 50s, and it wasn't just constantly throwing the ball as fast as possible, because I feel like when you start to mix in slow play and a lot of speed, it makes the defense have to question what they're looking at. And I think right there was a couple times Missouri Valley was a little bit confused, looked like they had the shoelaces tied by what St. Ambrose was cooking up, and I think that's really what we saw from St. Ambrose in the semifinals start to come out here in the Grands.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're Missouri Valley, again, no timeouts being called here. But again, I don't really think they need one. I don't think any of these teams really need a timeout. These games are very close. A couple 50s go either way. Then this could have been Missouri Valley's game. It could have been St. Ambrose. Could have dominated even more. But I think these teams are pretty evenly matched. No real need for that timeout or adjustments.
I think that's a good point, Rado, is that a lot of teams, if you do have a timeout in the back pocket and you can use it occasionally, really you want to use it when the game really gets away from you. When it's like, okay, we really got tilted there. We just kind of threw that one away. And ultimately, we're not seeing that. We're just seeing teams kind of go back and forth, and maybe someone doubles up quickly, and that's kind of the unreachable lead that sometimes occurs. But as we do get into this next game, St. Ambrose looking to really push this series a little bit further and further out of reach. This could put them up into 3-1 or go right back into tie game. And that's exactly, it seems like, where Missouri Valley seems to thrive. They don't let these series get too far out of hand. In fact, they've already beaten this team. They know they have it within them. Let's see if this is going to start off hot for them. It can't get much hotter than that. Squirrel with a laser pass to him.
Absolutely. And really just an absolute banger goal. 82 miles per hour. Not much Flamethrower can do to react to that one.
And again, Painthrower, I do like the unselfish play. A lot of players would just take that shot from a weird angle, even with all those defenders in the way, but he knows that middle is wide open. Good comms from the orange side.
And they're starting off hot, really keeping that aggressiveness that we talked about earlier. They went for another one there, but now Painthrower alone on defense, but he's able to hold them at bay.
This play, a little bit of a deflection there, as that one will go all the way out to Sky. Half decent touch, not going to be able to follow it up, but at the very least, looks like they're going to steal that boost, and indeed they will. Painthrower left with not a lot of resources. Now Sky here to reap the rewards of stealing away the other team's boost up until misplay. able to shut that one down. Still in the corner. Sky looking for a pinch. Misplay. Hops on it yet again.
Absolutely here. And I think something that we haven't really touched on this series that we touched about for the last one from Missouri Valley was that the back wall. I think they're doing a way better job at defending the back wall here compared to how they first started off in their last series. So maybe that's a possible thing they've looked at. But Squirrel now got it over to Shalonker. Shalonker's going to have the save out the Flamethrower. Flamethrower looking to possibly carry this out, but no, he gets beat by Pain Thriller.
Squirrel. Side wall. It would have been a heck of a clip there. Problem is, didn't have enough pace, I think, even to beat out the defense if that was a contact. Misplay. Trying again for Missouri Valley, taking it across. Didn't believe in the immediate flick, but I do like the indirect approach up until not able to catch up for Shalonkers to carry it all the way back.
And Squirrel there, nice little defense, keeps it looking for a possible counterattack here. Stu did commit for that offensive play. Pain Thriller is going to come through. Squirrel on top of the pass down. Misplay is there for the bounce, but Sky with the save.
That's a beautiful passing play, but a lot of risky play there. Two players going basically for the same touch in the midfield. If Misplay doesn't hit that directly on target, definitely a counterattack. So a lot of confidence in their team from Missouri Valley, and maybe it'll pay off with a goal, or at least another one as we get into this one. However, Misplay not able to beat out Flamethrower, at least on that time.
Squirrel back yet again. We've seen him back a couple times, last man, and he's been the clutch factor so far. He's able to keep them at bay while his teammates are getting back, but only up 1-0 here, 2 minutes, 45 seconds remaining, but that little redirect could have spelled for disaster if Flamethrower wasn't back.
I like that 1-2 attempt, though, from Missouri Valley. It's not always all three teams passing. It's not all these conventional backboard plays. Sometimes it's really just working in those small ball passes, which can be so hard to read for the defense, especially with St. Ambrose rotating back as far as they are. Looks like Misplay tried to take advantage of that one. Not going to beat out the defense, so Sky will, I will say, take it clear, but that one doesn't go too far. In fact, Pain Thrower, they might even have a double. Flamethrower steps in at the vital moment.
Absolutely here, but Missouri Valley's not done with this pressure. Actually, they might be as the demo comes through, but Misplay with a little bit of a miss. And they're going to have to do a little bit of a reset. No, Sherlonks actually puts one on target in the far right goal, and that's what you want to see to get them started in this match.
That's why you shoot back post. Pain Thrower trying to get it out. Doesn't get much. Misplay facing the near post, but into the far post, it will travel. Catching everybody's by surprise. Schlonkers striking true from a distance.
Absolutely. We know he can do it. We've seen him do it in these previous series already, but this ball's going to roll. No, Shalonkers is there for the save as well. No free goal for Missouri Valley. Not quite.
Pain. Corner read. Might have that one again. Thomas gets a bit too much on that one. As Misplay will try and settle that one down only as far as Shalonkers. Now Flamethrower on the backboard from an angle. Can't get it, but that's why he'll follow it himself. It's Flamethrower for the lead.
Absolutely amazing goal here. Nice team play here. And even though Shalonkers doesn't touch it, it makes Squirrel commit for that. Gets him out of position, which leaves the net open for Flamethrower.
Phenomenal comms there as well. Schlonkers didn't rotate back because he knew if he hit it on the backboard, might be able to shoot it from that angle, at the very least, hit it across. But it's also good communication from Schlonkers saying, hey, if I miss this, you got to be ready for it. Flamethrower did not deviate on their path at all. They were ready for any possibility, except that Schlonkers isn't ready for almost tragedy on the back pass. That would have been an incredibly awkward way to give up a goal, but luckily they could take a deep sigh and move on with the next one.
Absolutely, and we also see a double commit out of Schlonkers and Flamethrower. You're wondering if just a little, that miscommunication is sort of building into this play, but they seem to get back on track now with a passing play. Not quite able to connect with Flamethrower, though.
Squirrel clears that one down, and it's like a temporary kind of one player left back for Sky, but they get enough of a clear to fool out Misplay. Pain Thriller, flick on over, Schlonkers. Nice control. Understand they have a bit of time, but Squirrel make sure it is the littlest amount of time possible. Off the corner, Schlonkers, no read. Pain Thriller, I think they wanted to get that back, but that angle's asking for quite a lot from them.
And Flamethrower had a really nice 50 there. It would have kept the pressure for Missouri Valley if he would have lost that one, but they're able to get some boost now, get some reset, get a little bit more comfortable, and he actually beat Squirrel over that one and misplaced last here. Nice 50 over to the top of mid. No connect from the double but nothing on target either.
Flamethrower gets all of that 50, and again, this is more about the clock at this point. Schlonker's trying to put it beyond any doubt. That's a slaughter to the bottom 90. A 2-goal lead with 13 to go.
This is the second time now we've seen him absolutely slot this. Look at this perfect bottom left. He puts that ball anywhere else, it's getting saved.
Yeah, you got to feel for Painthrower. They feel like they probably had most of that covered. He's pretty far away. I don't know if that's really going to be able to find its way through. And what do you know? Schlonkers, you want one more for the road? Then go on. Flip reset's not going to work on out. Flamethrower's going to dunk that one just for good measure, as it looks like Misplay will just be able to only tap it into the midfield to delay the inevitable. St. Ambrose taking the dub. They're on match point in our grand final.
Yeah, and that's something that, from maybe that timeout comes in now, and we'll see it now. The timeout comes in here for Missouri Valley. Adjustment-wise, though, I don't really know if, I'm not sure quite what they need to adjust. I think they just need to kind of play their own game. They need to get back into that pressure that they get really good at. They get in that flow. I think they just need to get back into that state of mind.
I think getting some demos as well. St. Ambrose playing good defense, but they're stacking the goal a little bit. Not necessarily parking the bus, but they're doing everything except for that right now. And I think from Missouri Valley's perspective, I feel like a timeout also might be good to just calm everything down, maybe stand up a little bit and stretch the legs, because I would say I can't think of things much more tilting than shooting 7 shots, not scoring anything. And St. Ambrose 3 for 3 on their shots, only 3 looks at the goal, and every single one of them was impeccably finished.
Yeah, and that has to maybe it comes to Missouri Valley maybe having a little loose defense. They have 0 saves as well, so maybe that just comes out. Maybe Missouri Valley needs to play almost less aggressive, give up less goals, and capitalize on those counterattacks.
Yeah, I think we mentioned a lot on defense winning championships, and obviously you need offense to eventually win those games, push you through overtime. But I think I would agree that Missouri Valley needs to build a foundation really to be able to reside in this series. And right there, it starts at the bottom, and in this case, the back end of the field. I think if the defense does not stand tall, I don't care how good their offense is they're still getting outscored by St. Ambrose. We've seen this offense really just needs a little bit of a peek at goal, and Flamethrower and Schlonkers all series long have been lethal from mid-range all the way up to right on the goal line.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've talked about Squirrel and Painthrower. I think they really need to turn it up this game. This is do or die now. I would love to see right off rip Missouri Valley start hot. I would love them to have that pressure just right off rip as well.
And we know St. Ambrose doing a lot of VOD review in this one. I feel like as the series has gone above and beyond as they look at this series, honestly, this is probably where it kind of pays off. It looks a little ragged at times, not really working out. And then slowly, even though, I've been kind of critiquing them for not really getting a lot of shots off. They don't need a lot. They really are getting good shots on. And most importantly, they're striking them true. They're not trying to overthink things. And I think that's something that really was working well for them. So right now, the timeout for Missouri Valley, they get to talk about what they need to change. For St. Ambrose, I don't really think they need to change too much. You might be spending too much time on defense, but they're playing great defense.
Yeah, and I think I remember with the interview, he said one of the number one things they struggled with that they have now gotten incredibly more better with now is their rotations. And I honestly think St. Ambrose is rotating very, very well, even though they are playing a little bit more defensively. But like you said, they're just playing. There's always a man near the ball. They're never caught with an open net or no one near close to contest for a 50. And so they're playing really well with the rotates.
Yeah, I think that's super important. The one thing that we've been witnessing in a lot of these semifinals and games in the semifinals is to see the occasional goal that you're like, yeah, that didn't have to happen. St. Ambrose has not given up a single goal like that. There's been really good goals scored out by Missouri Valley, but all of them have to be earned, which sounds like a low bar to clear, but you'd be surprised in a lot of competitive environments, you're going to let some awkward goals slip. St. Ambrose, they're here to win. They're here to close it out. 5 minutes are separating them from the championship here. If they can just make sure they have another solid game, it is all theirs. But as we know, Missouri Valley, they are fighters. They're not going to go down easy.
Yeah, no, absolutely here. And the kickoff kind of goes in favor of St. Ambrose, but again, Painthrower on that quick retaliation to send it across. But we just got some clearing right now. Nothing too pivotable. The Squirrel gets it over 1 past 2, really. Leaves Schlonkers back on the goal. Misplay now trying to carry it over for the pass, but no, Sky is there for the save.
Painthrower able to slowly bounce that one down as that one's going to ricochet across. I like that kind of creative dribble. Certainly did not see Sky reacting to that one. Painthrower getting a weird angle again. Flamethrower kind of waited it out, just trusting that that was probably not going in.
Over 1, and I don't know if you can see that, but there was a crucial bump. If that bump didn't happen, that was going to be a carry on to net, and Schlonkers was awkward in net. That could have been a goal, but the bump comes through. Something we did want to see them do, and, well, it just saved them a goal.
Oh, there's the bump coming in. We mentioned that could have been an aspect, but Unfortunately, St. Ambrose, they're getting bumped around, but there's nobody up for Missouri Valley to take advantage. Schlonker's trying to make sure they get this one-on-one down pat, but doesn't really work out for them. Sky, that could be a brutal miss, but Schlonker's backwards with the save. Squirrel, the follow through. It could be a pass to Painthriller. The crossbar says no.
That is that pressure that we've been wanting to see out of Missouri Valley, but again, they just couldn't convert it into a goal. It's very unfortunate. The crossbar just needs to be a little bit bigger. Unfortunate there for Missouri Valley, but they still have the offensive pressure here.
Fast cross misplay, love the dish attempt, but defense on the near post, standing steady. Sky over the top on the breakaway. That's a heck of an angle. They might go for a pass there. Smartly played by Squirrel. Could have very easily been an own goal.
And now looking for the counterattack here, but Schlonker says no. Looking for a counterattack of his own with a demo and Bast one. Now Sky taking to the sky, down on, but Squirrel will catch it in front of the net. Flamethrower off the wall. Schlonker's playing a little bit further back though for the defense so they don't get counterattacked.
What a 50 Pain Thriller. That's a miss, could be tactical even, but unfortunately will not lead to any shot. Now potentially a counter. Schlonkers not holding anything back on this one. Sky the follow through, and he will strike true.
Absolutely, Sky will take to the sky here. It's a beautiful little read from this pass. He's already up, or the bounce off the deflect of the defense and just puts it right in the middle of the goal on target.
That's what I'm talking about from St. Ambrose, is that you don't necessarily need to perfectly finesse this one top corner right there. Sky understands the defense is scrambling. Just make sure I put this on target, force a save rather than trying to really outplay the defense every single time. Sometimes it's just about making sure the defense stays accountable. There's another giveaway. Sky, he's a predator in front of the goal.
Absolutely, and we're seeing some double commits, some bumps and miscommunications, but not by the enemy team. Missouri Valley was really just all over the place in front of their own net there.
Right now, St. Ambrose, they're the Mind Flayers. They are eating away at this nightmare slowly forming in Missouri Valley's minds. You can see the panic in the back end. They're not dealing with it well. And right now, it seems like St. Ambrose, they're more than willing to just kind of sit back and repeatedly pound this shot back and forth in front of the goal. Flamethrower even taking out some aggression there, taking out one of the players.
And the demo comes through, but Misplay is going to get into the midfield. 4 Painkillers are going to be over. No, Sky is back for the touch, but that ball will just float over into mid here. Painkiller's going to put it on the back of the wall. Now back across. Now he's going to carry it back. This ball hasn't touched the ground, and it's just going to float in.
One surface, you can't always predict how it's going to deflect off that ceiling. For Sky, he's been the offensive hero, but you gotta play both sides of the field. Can't quite read that one. That's a bit of a lifeline for Missouri.
Absolutely there, and it goes to show the skill from both these teams. I mean, the ball didn't even touch the ground there for the entire 6 touches. They're keeping it up, playing off the ceiling, good reads. But now Missouri Valley's gonna need another one here in this next minute 40 to tie up the game.
Wow, what a recovery from Squirrel being to prevent that one. Schlonkers trying to make sure they leave this attack with something, but they will not be able to have anything in that gift bag. Pain Thriller from an angle that was on target. Sky, well, stepped in. With a double commit actually from St. Ambrose, not something you see often. Could lead to something. The ground pinch from Misplay with just too much power behind it.
And it seems like Missouri Valley's kind of getting in this flow that they like to do with all this pressure they have. Really drain their opponents a boost, but Sky low on boost, but they're trying to get out as best as he can, get some. A little bit of a miss from both, but it could pan out here. Oh, Schlonker's looking to take a little bit more of a defensive role, but Painthrow's gonna make him pay for that.
Painthrow, not only that, it stays in front of it, and that deflects all over the place except for in the goal somehow. Misplay. Keep it around somewhat in the corner. Painthrower, heavy deflection. They can't read that one. Luckily, Schlonkers was there to put an end to Squirrel shenanigans. He's going to stay around the attack, but doesn't jump up for Schlonkers. No redirect on in. Still one more lead. We could have only half a minute remaining in this grand final if Missouri Valley doesn't do something.
Absolutely. Here we are on the defensive half here. Missouri Valley, they don't want to be on defense. They need to be on offense, and Paintthrower gets it, but it's going to be deflected off to the side. Misplay. What's he going to do with it? He's going to put it kind of a little bit of a pass, but Sky playing good defense.
Really brilliant pass right there into Squirrel, but looks like Schlonkers was waiting for it. They were ready. Now the rest of the team has to be as well, because it is not over. Pain Thriller not able to beat out Schlonker's final seconds. It's got to stay in the air. There's only so much boost on the field. Schlonkers clears over the top, misplay. They just can't reach it. St. Ambrose takes down the first seed, takes down everybody. They are your Heart Esports Conference champion.
What an amazing game from both teams, Missouri Valley and St. Ambrose. A really good grand finals. GG's to every single team that played as well. We had really good Rocket League matches today, but at the end of the game, at the end of the day, the number 4 seed comes on the top, St. Ambrose, and all that VOD reviewing and their practicing and everything really paid off for them.
And this is something that's nice. It just comes to the formula. If you put in that hard work, you'll be able to achieve great things. And not only that, but in the manner that they're able to. Another win where they don't have to go to game 6. They don't have to go to game 7. They're taking care of business in just straight games. They got on a streak there, and it was just too hot to be able to be knocked off of.
Absolutely there. And I think St. Ambrose would be very confident in their performances as well. I know when we were having the interview before, he was like, we're going to prove that we don't deserve to be number 4, even though our record's 4-3. We're not that team anymore. We've changed. And they definitely proved that.
That's exactly why when we think of seasons, we're like, it's all one big thing. Not really. It's 2 halves. You have the regular season, and this is exactly why you show up as prepared as possible in the postseason. Excellent thing to see from them. Congrats again to St. Ambrose, the 4 seed, the lowest seed in this bracket, taking it all the way through. We'll be thinking potentially whether or not we can grab an interview, but we do, of course, have that award ceremony. Either way, we're going to throw it to a brief break here and potentially be back with more of the Heart of America Conference Championship Tournament, crowning St. Ambrose as our champion.
seasons come and go like thoughts of you. Like a wave returns to the sea, into the blue. May change, but in a cycle that I can't lose. Each painful but delightful to live through. You came into my life, just like another season. Like for them, just a time, just like another season. You came into my life, just like another season. Like for them, just a time, just like another season.
A season has come and a season now has gone. It is the Heart of America Conference Championship, and we are all done. It's St. Ambrose taking the crown, and we got Sky alongside us in the interview booth. First of all, we got to ask the obvious. How does it feel to go from a team scraping on in this final playoff bracket and now taking it all?
It feels great, honestly. We've had a lot of ups and downs in the season. Haven't always played our best, but to come out on top when we need to, oh, it feels so good.
I'm feeling that. I mean, the thing we talked about you a little bit before, we talked to your teammate saying, yeah, this is not who we were. Obviously, we talked about your preparation, but I mean, did you have that kind of emotion coming into or the playoffs, or rather prior to the playoffs? After that 3-2, it's got to be a little frustrating. You even had to beat Missouri Valley, which did take you down in the regular season. I mean, was this kind of like a revenge tour for you, or is it more so just trying to prove to yourself that you were capable of more?
I think it was a revenge tour. We've been doing a lot of training throughout the season. We changed up our whole rotation, modeled it after Golden Knights, a little small YouTubers rotation style. So we were spending a lot of the season learning that. And I think when we played all those teams, we weren't quite ready. But coming into this, we were like, all right, we got it. It's been long enough. Let's show them what we got.
Very nice. We know that you and your teammates, you guys have played before for quite a little bit now. Do you think that being on land in this certain environment and stuff, did that sort of play into any sort of your guys' like tactics? Were you guys comfortable on land? Did you guys feel maybe a little uncomfortable at the start, then got, as the series went on, you guys got more comfortable?
I think we were pretty comfortable off the bat. We're always playing in person, always next to each other. So whenever I look over and see the two of them, I'm like, all right, we're here. We're ready to play. We're going to score some crazy goals, get some crazy saves, and win some games.
Yeah, and speaking of scoring some crazy goals, one stat I could not believe throughout all of those games is you guys were shooting like maybe only like 3 to 6 shots a game, but you're scoring almost like 70% of them. Were you guys just on fire going into this one, or were the vibes just like immaculate in the comms?
I think we knew when we had to hit a shot, we knew when it was coming, and we captured the opportunity. We didn't let it slip. We scored everything we needed to. We were there whenever we needed to be there.
Very nice. And I think that just goes to what you mentioned earlier, just all the practice and the time you guys put in. Really, you guys really showed it here. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I guess, I mean, we already had that little trophy celebration. You guys get to be able to kind of like let that soak in. But obviously, do you feel like this is the start of maybe a little bit of a dynasty work in the works for St. Ambrose? Do you guys feel like
I don't know.
replicable?
Oh, I mean, we got a lot of good recruits coming in next semester, so my spot's at risk. Clearly, I'm not the best guy on the team. That's Schlock and Flame. They're leagues above me, but I'm trying to keep my spot so we can try and do this again next semester. I'd love to play with them again. Awesome friends. It's amazing team.
Alrighty. Well, it's excellent to hear from you. And again, congrats. Before I let you go, any shout outs you want to have for the final broadcast that you might be on of the season?
One, shout out our coach Gatormelon, and like he's been there the entire season, always believed in us, was helping us during those games, telling us what we need to focus on. And then two, I shouted him out before, but Golden Light, his rotation style, it works, and we proved it. We came here and we did exactly what he told us to do, and it worked. Got us the win. And I just want to know that we're thankful for him. It's so nice.
Shout out to Golden Light. I coach his alma mater right now, so
Yeah.
I'll tell him that you said that, but I'll pass along the good word. Either way, Sky, thank you so much for popping in, and have a
Thank you for
wonderful
having
rest of your day. Congrats again.
Thank you.
And with that said, I mean, that's going to wrap us up here. Rido, thank you so much for joining me in the booth here. This has been a wonderful time to be able to cast these games along with you. The Heart of America Conference Championship all wrapped up. The 4th seed going the distance. That Cinderella run, maybe if you don't ask them, they came in prep, but it's been a blast from start to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to cast with you as well, Taco. Great matches overall. I mean, they were really shootouts as well. From start to finish, good matches. And like you said, the Cinderella story did come to fruition.
And so with that, I mean, we'll have to see whether or not anything else can change. We said that's a revenge tour a little bit from St. Ambrose in the words of Sky. Maybe that'll be the same with Park and also Central Methodist. They were not able to make that grand final, but maybe on the next go around. But for this season, it's all wrapped up here for the Heart of America Conference Championship Tournament. Shout out to Siren on the back end, pressing the buttons, making this broadcast as stellar as it is. Rido, co-commentator, is excellent. I've been Daner Taco, and this is going to be good night. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
The seasons turn and change just like your mind. Like the sun gives into the moon, into the night. Time continues marching, it slowly crawls. With each new one starting, I recall.